Revival House Network.
And don't like the brags, I don't like the boast. They like hot butter on the breakfast toast. Watching flicks, talking chicks, I like to motorboat. Can Riverman make it, yo, a check? Nope. So look at all these movies I got. Commenting like, should we watch them or not? And I know they just be acting for cash, but I still got one question to ask. Like, why'd he do that, do that, do that? If that was me, I'd be like, screw that, screw that, screw that. I'm an alpha, I'd eat through that, through that, through that. So why'd he do that, do that, do that?
What's up, gang? BTM boys, Revival House, got Mac in tow with Zach and myself. Today is Bill and Ted
what's
Day.
up? See, Aaron, you suck at doing intros. See, the thing is, we did the one last time, the Hellraiser versus Hellraiser 2. You go, yeah, we got Josh James here, and we got and then like you're supposed to like pause so that Josh James would say, hey, what's up, guys? And then you say, and we got the goat, and then like the goat says something, but you didn't do that. Josh James tried to do that, and I had to fucking edit it to make it sound like you stopped, so that it sounded like you did it right. But then whenever you said the goat didn't say anything because he knew like, oh, I better not say anything.
Like, hey, what's up?
But I fixed it in editing so that you don't sound like a fucking idiot. But now you're doing it again.
So sometimes when I do that, there's a big gap. Like, and Josh will be like,
Yeah.
hey, what's up? After 3 seconds.
But you know what? If that does happen, then I fix it anyway.
Well, I don't think about that.
Beta cuck.
I should have the foresight. And I
The
guess
William Foresight.
I'm excited to just get it going because I don't have that much time. And then yet Zach delayed the intro again. So regardless, it cost me 30 seconds of my life.
We are doing fucking Bill and Ted Face the Music. It's been in the fucking works for years. We finally got it, and it's gonna happen. Are you guys ready?
I'm fucking ready. All right, so we're all ready. We're if you guys have it on VOD, it just pretty much kicks off with that classic Orion logo that even still looks grainy. I think it's the exact same logo. Is it even updated?
Hell, yes.
But that's where it kicks off. So we're gonna go in 3, 2, 1, play.
So we've been holding off on talking about this movie for like fucking a couple days because we wanted to wait till we got the fucking commentary. And I don't know what Mac thought of the movie. I do know what Aaron thought of the movie because he's a beta and he fucking posts his review on Letterboxd. I know that like when I post the star rating, he'll see it. So I refrain from doing that. But he's just a beta and did that. So I know what he thinks of the movie. But yeah, we're gonna go into it. We're gonna see Headstone. I'll thank you on. We're going to go in there. We're going to do this. It's going to be dank AF.
So I didn't put a review. I think I just put my rating. But my rating wasn't terrible or anything, you know?
Yeah, but we'll talk about what we think at the end of the movie. But we got a nice little recap here for all the youngins coming in that don't know the movies. What do you think of the recap?
It's fine, I guess.
You know what sucks about this movie? And I'm going to go right into it.
Quite a few things.
It's only an hour and 30 minutes. And like the pacing is super quick.
It's fast.
And you feel like...
Rushed.
You feel very... see, here's the thing. They brought back, the princesses. Oh, we're finding out here that, Wild Stallions, they had that great fucking perfect ending of Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. And then they fell to obscurity. They were a one-hit wonder. And, that's funny. Them trying to reinvent themselves and he's wearing like purple hair and shit. That's cool. But like that must have been like their Trent Reznor days when they were going experimental. But yeah, like the plot of this one is basically they bring in a new thing where now there's like alternate universes that they can travel to, and they don't really explain that until close to the end. But like, so fucking reality is collapsing on itself, and all these historical figures are just showing up in random spots. They keep showing up in San Dimas. And we're getting ready to see Bill and Ted for the first time in the movie right here.
So, but do you have to sort of pretend certain aspects of the end of the last one don't exist? Because doesn't it kind of insinuate that they did kind of save the world and they come back with the big ZZ Top beards? Are we just kind of, you know what I mean? Because it wasn't that far into the future because their little kids were like babies.
Yeah, so basically they wanted to make another one and they needed some way to make another one and have it like fucking just basically because they're older now.
It's Terminator. It's like Terminator 2. Hey, you guys got to stop Judgment Day. Congrats, you did it. Terminator 3. Yeah, none of that mattered. It still happened anyway. What?
Well, in a way, the original line that Rufus says, Bill Carlin, and fun fact, that
Bill Carlin.
fucking Carlin, our boy, the fun fact, that intro was a reshoot, and he wrote the dialogue for that because like the original opening had them just like fucking doing their air guitar while they're waiting for the bus to school to come, and it had them meeting up with a bully at school, which was like the fucking jock guy that like towards the end he's like fucking San Dimas football rules, that guy. But he was like the jock and like picked on him, but they cut that stuff out. They had this new one with our boy George Carlin, and he wrote the dialogue for that. In his original opening, he says that, I don't remember if it's the original opening or if it's the one he gives at the end, where he says, you guys are going to play a song. It's going to bring the entire universe into universal harmony. That's what he says. So we always thought that what he meant by that was that their music is so good that it unites the world. But what if what he really meant was that just the fact that they played a song at a certain time and everybody heard it at this certain time is what saves the world? That's cute and clever, whatever. But like the thing is,
Magic Zach saved the world.
did they have to like retcon anything? I don't know. I'll need to watch through and listen very carefully to how they explain everything. But this is funny here, this little experimental track they play. And the long ass title is amazing.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. And then we passed over the throwback to the whole Missy running joke, and now he's with Deacon. She's with Deacon. Sorry.
Exactly.
That's a fine nod. I think it's a good thing about the movie is that I think they ride that line perfectly of, throwbacks and shit. They don't overdo it like you might expect them to do for a sequel this long after the last one. They could have went total ham on it, but they do it just enough because you have to expect they're going to do it a little bit. The only thing they don't do is it's jumping ahead, but you don't get to see Station. They just make a shout out of Station. But
hell yeah. You know what's funny too is I found out that the Station, the whole the reason that was in the movie was because of some whenever you're writing a script and you highlight it and replace it with something else.
Yeah.
They did that at one point in the script, and then sometimes there's a random word left over that didn't get highlighted, and so there was a point in the script where just out of nowhere it said Station. And they thought that was really funny, so it just became the name of the two robots, and then they thought it'd be funny that also let's have these rock guys saying "Station" just for no reason, and that's fucking amazing. That's something I would do if I was writing a script, inside joke shit. That's amazing. But what the fuck was that instrument that Ted was playing there? That was amazing.
I can't remember what it's called, but that's a real thing. They used to use that in all the old Ed Wood movies. Woo!
And he had guitar pedals hooked up to it.
Yeah, he had the noise gate. Is what that was, right?
Amazing.
I think it was the noise gate, Boss Noise Gate. How does Kid Cudi know who Station is, though?
Exactly. They fucking brought it up here. Exactly.
So at this point,
is it Kid Cudi or Cudi?
Kid Cudi, I think. I don't think the movie looks offensive yet. This looks fine, even though I'm not convinced this isn't green screen too. In some places,
no, this is on location. I've seen the behind the.
Have you?
Shots.
Okay. But sometimes I'm shocked. Some of the stuff that you would think is definitely on location still isn't these days. I'm like, what the fuck? But Marvel movies are the kings of doing shit where it should be on location and it's still fake.
That's what I thought of this, watching this movie. I'm just it's like a Marvel movie. I fucking hate to look at this, when they're in front of green screen.
But so far it's not offensive, but pretty much the second they hit the suburbs, even the suburb kind of looks fake. Even though I'm sure that's real too.
They got these nice houses right next to each other. Fucking hilarious. Amazing. See, that's one thing I always like. The daughters, they call them dads instead of dad. It's dads. They're always paired up as one person. In the first movie, they had to, everybody else is given their, history exam as one person. But for some reason, it shows him marking down all these names and it says Bill and Ted as one person at the end. It's why the fuck are they paired together? That's amazing. They're just always together. That's great. And now they're fucking doing the couples counseling together. Wholesome.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't mind this. I feel like Bill's wife is way too young. She would be older.
Yeah, they recast the fucking princesses in every movie. And you know what's funny is the princesses are having their own little subplot that seems to be completely cut out of the movie.
It goes nowhere. Yeah, and there's extra shit, and I'd be dying to see it.
We need a director's cut. Like, we need to have this, because they're going through and looking at alternate dimensions, looking for a dimension and some possibility where they end up happy with Bill and Ted, and the bad Bill and Ted's later in the movie, which I don't know if that's the future or another alternate, maybe possible future dimension.
I think that's the future. I think they have their own movie going on and we just don't get to see it. It's crazy.
It's weird though, because there's this scene where Rufus's wife, they're explaining to him how this works, right? And they go, okay, you got to write this song like by the end of tonight. Like you got till, I forget the time, but let's just say like 5:15. You got till 5:15 to write the song. They're like, what if we don't think of a song? What happens then? And they're like, there is no San Dimas if you don't think of a song by 5:15. But then they proceed to go into the future and see a version of the future where they didn't write the song. So I'm confused by that. Is it an alternate dimension? I don't know.
Yeah, I guess that is no, I don't know. I don't know. It feels like it wasn't planned out yet because she was saying an or else. I don't know, but yeah, I thought they were going into their timeline.
It's possible she was being hyperbolic, and it's possible they told her to say that just for the trailer, which causes a fucking plot hole. But yeah, it's possible.
My big question, though, regarding all that jumping into their future self, because I think it's one timeline, right? So the prison Bill and Ted's obviously the same ones that were playing the bar, and then even old Bill and Ted's the same Bill and Ted's, the prison Bill and Ted later. So my only question is, why didn't the old fucking Bill and Ted just tell him right then and there, hey, it's your daughters that write the fucking song? Why didn't you just tell them?
See, that's the thing. They don't know because they didn't succeed in doing it. So they just see.
But they had the song. Another thing. They had the drive. They had the song though.
They didn't have the song. It's the older versions that do have the song. They didn't.
But I'm saying, why didn't the older versions tell them? Why didn't the older versions say, "Hey, it's your kids"?
Because it's not important. It's not important. Like people think, like, oh, they did this thing where it's not Bill and Ted the whole time. It was always their daughters. And I'm like, no, they're implying.
No. I got to argue with you here. It is important because they have X amount of time to play the song, or the whole fucking universe is going to collapse. I would think they would tell them, "Hey." Because every second counts.
Because they don't want us to know until the end. That's how movies work, bro.
Well, I know that. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I get it. But it's just a plot. It's stupid. I mean, it doesn't take them long to figure it out, obviously, because the movie, like you said, is so fucking rushed. Like, it takes them all 2 seconds. Wait, Bill.
Way too quick.
And I don't really get how they put it together, by the way. I mean, they have the same. That it's supposed to be like the writer credits, right? In an album, Preston Logan. But why would they just automatically be like, whoa, it is them? Why would you come to that deduction so easily?
I saw that coming because the thing is when they find out that they have so many hours to write a song, they don't sit down and try to write a song. They immediately like fuck off and like, let's go to the future when we did write a song.
Yeah.
It's like, if that's the idea you came up with, obviously the future is not going to have you having a song because that's what you thought to do. Like, so right away, whenever the daughters are going around, and I like the daughters actually in the movie. Like they bring because Bill and Ted, they grew up. They're older
now. They bring
a
youth, I guess, back to the movie.
Exactly, and I think the girl playing Ted's daughter is like doing
almost great spot on. Yeah,
it's really good. Like they're not annoyed. They didn't annoy me.
I was annoyed.
You were?
Yeah, I thought they were.
I think Bill's daughter is just, you could put any blonde in that role. I guess
she was just dumb.
I like her in like pretty much everything I've seen her in. She's the babysitter. She was on a movie called Ready or Not. I really like.
But she's forgettable in this. You can't even like associate all her movies with this. Ted's daughter is the only one that's kind of going method with it, and she even kind of looks the part.
Ted's daughter actually said that like when she was like doing the whole thing like for the movie, like she actually did look at. They told him not to watch the movie, but she did see a clip and she knew like, okay, this is what kind of how they were and this is what I'm going for. So like the other one, like I think she did see the movie, but she didn't see it growing up. Apparently like whenever she got the email that they were casting for it, she said Bill and Ted Faces of Music, and her boyfriend was like, oh dude. And basically like, you got to do that movie. And they watched the movies that night. Like, yeah, fucking, what was I going to say? That's a problem with the movie is I think like I like that the daughters are going around looking to put together this band, so right away like, oh, it must be them that write the song technically because they're the ones that are like getting all these band guys together, like all these famous like Jimi Hendrix and all these guys, and basically that's the part of the movie that I think is the weakest because that's just basically a light reboot of the first movie.
Yeah, well, I mean, except she's building a band and not like for a history project, but it's
Yeah.
But the biggest thing that hurts this movie, you mentioned it earlier, is it's so fucking rushed. And I usually think 90 minutes is super tight and great, but it almost goes too fast, and none of these little things are explored. The subplot with the musician, they don't even explore that very much. You have a couple of scenes with Louis Armstrong and whatever, and it's fine, but it really doesn't. I don't know.
I was kind of hoping they put in more like times of people we would know, like maybe they get Johnny like not Johnny, maybe they I know it's hard to get permission from like people that do this shit, but like, oh, they get Kurt Cobain or something like that. Like I think like just people we like our generation would recognize more.
Well, so fun. I mean, I know Louis Armstrong, and everybody knows Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, those two. But
you don't know Louis Armstrong?
No, I know who I'm saying like
I
for
thought
the
Max
drummer and like the flute.
Well, the drummer they made up is completely fictional.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, and I googled that because I'm like, is this some prehistoric fucking person they found, and they found like evidence that linked them to rhythm, but no, because she's supposed to be like fucking way thousands and thousands. No, they made her up.
It
Asian
was kind
person,
of like back then when the drums were invented too, so like they're probably just kind of throwing that. Like, oh yeah, it's one of the originators of it. Yeah.
but the Asian person from China, ancient China, that is supposedly in Chinese history the founder of all Chinese music. Except in history, that person's depicted as a man. So for some reason, they just changed it to a woman in this. But you know, she's literally dates thousands years back too. But she's kind of cool because you know that's actually a historical reference, and you know, Asian population's fucking massive. So I'm cool with that. The Louis Armstrong's kind of random, I guess. As a trumpet player, why do they want a trumpet player though? That's not, like you said,
well,
that's not very.
Our boy, you know, the first guy they go to get won't join unless Louis Armstrong's in the band, so they get him for him.
But they just threw that in there as if Jimi Hendrix worshipped Louis Armstrong. Did he?
Oh, here we go. Here's that fucking our boy here.
Archive footage with a different actor doing his voice.
Yeah, of course they had to. See, what if they just did one of those synthetic voice to speech text to speech things?
Yeah, I'm okay with this homage though. It's good enough.
I like that Ted actually waves by at him. That's cute.
Yeah.
See, imagine this better if they shot it in a real location, and instead of just a long hallway with nobody there, there's a bunch of like futuristic people walking around, and there's other things set up like, oh yeah, this is another thing from history that was really important. And like, well, it seems like they had such a low budget and like slow time, they had to do it a certain way.
Well, it's not only the fact that it looks shitty, it looks cheap, and it looks fake. It's all digital. It's the fact that you said it's so empty. Like there's nobody else in the future. This place looks pretty important, and there's nobody walking around. It looks cheap. And even in the original movies, you had the students, you had more people going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hate all these scenes. These scenes fucking taint the movie.
See, I don't hate them. It's just I see what could have been, but that's annoying. Like wanting it, like thinking it needed a little bit more time in the oven, and just didn't get it when it would have been so easy to kind of make it work better.
Speaking of relevant people that we would know more, or more people would know, I was reading different articles about because this movie's been in developmental hell for years and years. I was reading different articles and interviews and quotes from Bill and Ted here over the years about, like back even 5 years ago, they're like, yeah, we're going to start in a year. Never happened. 2010. Yeah, we got a script. It's going to start. Never happened. But I think as early as
was George Carlin alive 10 years ago? Could he have been in it, or was that after he already died?
No. I actually I think George Carlin died in like 06 or 07. And they announced it like officially was really in the works right after he had died. And I was thinking, fuck, man, this movie's a couple of years away. Like, man, they just missed him. Little did I know it was going to take fucking 14 years to get made. So, it really didn't just miss him. But no, I read an interview with Alex Winter, and it was from like 2014 or 15 or something like that. One of the last times he said it was about to come out and get started before it didn't. And he said it was going to feature an Eddie Van Halen cameo. And I think that would have been appropriate. And because obviously that
might have been what Kid Cudi became, because like years later they had to change the script to make it more modern, right?
Yeah. I mean, because now even 5 years ago, even in say 2014, 2015, they're probably like, no kids know who Eddie Valen is or what he looks like, but it serves the original characters, man. I this is what I wanted before I saw it. I wanted more homage shit to the actual Bill and Ted. I know it's not modern, but Bill and Ted are. I mean, it's just like us getting older.
It doesn't need to be modern. Yeah, we don't care what the kids think about this movie.
Bill and Ted, as 50-year-old dudes, they're still gonna love what they listened to when they were younger. Like I still listen to fucking Van Halen. They would still like Van Halen. They would still like all the shit they were listening to in the first movie. So that's kind of a bummer, as we really don't have any of that. None of that attitudes in the movie. It doesn't feel like much of a music movie. And I know Mac was like, hey, they totally did their air guitars, but they do it like twice, and they wait till like midway in the movie.
3 times.
Or 3 times.
Second time they do it twice in a row.
Yeah, twice in a row, but it's 2 moments, and it seems like.
See, I think if they did it, if they laid that more throughout the movie, people would be like, "Oh God, it's fucking nostalgia bait, bro. Get on with it." I think it's fine.
They don't do it until they leave in the phone booth for the first time, and it kind of takes a while. And they don't
do it 4 times, not 3 times.
They don't do it again until they see death, which is fine. That's appropriate, but
that's all you need.
Hell yeah. And see, that scene with death is fucking, it's one of the highlights of the movie. Even
all
though
the bass albums.
Like if we were, like all their shit about like, he made a solo record called Pale on Pale. That's fucking hilarious. Instead of Blonde on Blonde. And like, oh, Too Pale to Cry and shit like that. That's funny. But like, yeah, and it's kind of tainted though, because it takes place in a fucking CGI hell, which does, like, technically it looks better, but it doesn't look as interesting as it did in the second movie when they had like, just a rock they're standing on.
I don't think it looks better. I mean, it's
more, it has more shit going on and stuff.
I guess you have CGI dragons and shit flying in the background because you can do it all on a computer, and like lava exploding. It looks stupid. In the other movie, Less Was More, when they're playing death, right, to get out of hell, it's literally just a black room, and they got some window with some blue light shining through. It's just a basic room with lighting, and that works. Mm-hmm. And then I don't know, where they were filming all the weird dream sequence shit, it just looks like a big warehouse, and they just use lighting and shit. I mean,
see, that's subtle though. Like here, they have a big empty room that looks like it should be full of thousands of people, and that just doesn't work. Like that big fucking bridge they're walking on.
Yeah, it looks terrible. But yeah, anyway, I don't know. The biggest problem is that it's too rushed. But that's a fine line you cross, because you don't want it to be too long.
I figured they would have put someone like famous in hell, like they'd walk up on.
Oh, yeah.
They should have had George Carlin in there.
That'd been great.
They should have had They should have had a deep fake George Carlin in hell, because Rufus, right? Rufus is dead.
That's funny too. Why do they go to hell?
And
like, what did the daughters do that were bad? It's just a plot device.
Well, I mean, it's just where what
like
the robot
everybody, everybody goes to hell, I guess, if you die in this. What did you guys think about that robot as the comic relief?
He's cheesy as hell, but I mean, it kind of makes sense. They got to do something. He's kind of like a station.
He's basically Death from part 2.
Yeah, he's kind of. I think half the things he says is whatever, but I think half the things he says is kind of funny.
Mm.
I think he works. Like as soon as he goes to hell with them, and he's kind of like being their best friend, and he's cleaning.
And they're like, "You just sent us to hell. You're not our friend."
Yeah, that's all funny, right? Remember when they first. Yeah,
the joke that like, oh, he's this big baddie, but then he's like super insecure and clingy. That's funny. But what's funny is like I talked about like my first experience watching this movie being fucking terrible, because my internet kept going out every 30 minutes, and then I had to watch the last 10 minutes on my phone. And so like, yeah, when we get to the ending, I wanna know if like when you guys watched this movie, you picked up on everything. Like we'll get to it, but yeah, so. Yeah, now they're at the scene where they're going and they're meeting their future selves.
They're playing Those Who Rock here?
Yeah, they're playing their one hit just in a little cafe, and there's like 3 people there. And they see him and run off. This is kind of confusing because it looks like they run out a back door, but then they come back in.
That was weird.
What did they do that for?
I didn't notice that cut before.
I was like, did they not run out a back door and they just went through like a weird fucking like outside? Maybe they had to run through the building to get to their van quicker. I don't know.
Maybe it was just a weird cut of 2 scenes and they slapped them together and it didn't work out. I think this is where the movie shines too. Like whole Ted interacting with Ted. It's really funny. I think.
Yeah. when he meets his old self, it's pretty funny. I shut you out. I didn't. When I look at you and I see myself.
Yeah, all their interaction with their future us is really funny, and even the prison scenes like that you wish went on longer. Like even like or they had more of that.
Yeah,
you got to see a little more. The prison.
That's why they shouldn't have even showed that in the trailers, because it's like we see it and it's like, oh, that's already over.
Well, yeah, and it makes you think that you're going to see more of that. More of the movie's going to be about that, but they don't really. You know, you don't really go to. This isn't really crazy. Like it's just them with a beard playing a. Yeah, I don't know.
That's what makes me think there had to have been a lot of stuff cut out. Hopefully,
I'm
like
sure they'll have a lot of deleted scenes.
Hopefully they do, because I can see the Blu-ray coming out and just not having it, because like they don't do that anymore. It seems like they're like, oh, we don't want to put a bunch of fucking special features on the disc. Like people don't care anymore. And see, that would suck if we found out that it was like so early on that they just took pages out of the script and never shot it. That would fucking...
Did you watch, when you bought it on Vudu, did you watch the special features that were included? Because
yep.
I don't know if how do you get them to work? Because like every time I clicked a featurette, it was like a minute and a half long. I'm like, it played off like a trailer for a featurette. Don't tell me that was the featurette.
It was, yeah.
They were like a minute and a half, like 3 things. But they were edited together clips like from a bigger conversation. So I'm like, where's the rest? Dude, it was shit. Like I want a real making of, real interviews and shit like that.
I hope there's a fucking commentary on that Blu-ray with fucking Keanu and fucking Bill and the Ed Solomon and all of them. Like, I want to fucking
say
hear
their
all
names,
shit.
but not Bill.
Yeah, it's funny. I had to, I mean, I had to pay $25 to own this. So I think for me to own it physically again and pay more money, I want them to come out with a 4K set of all 3 of them, because I know they will. They got to come out with the box set because they always do that.
See, that might explain that thing I was asking earlier. See, as they left, it showed that Buddhist monk show up. So maybe she's saying like, oh yeah, if you don't write the song by this time, then we're not going to, fix this, weird reality shift going on. So that was a future where it looked like as they were leaving, it was still going on, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what? I like the scene too where they go to the future and Bill and Ted's successful, but I cringed a little bit when it was yet another Dave Grohl cameo. Because he's fucking everywhere, dude. It's just like somebody else exists. They have somebody else. I feel like he's in everything.
What? I don't watch enough new movies to know that. Yeah.
Wait, what did you just say?
I said I cringed when they had Dave Grohl in a cameo.
See, that would have been funny if he was in hell. If they would have cut and been like, "You guys again."
Oh, yeah.
I like the idea that
there.
I like the idea that they were in somebody else's mansion and faking it. That's fine. But you know what doesn't make sense is if you look, on the second watch, after I knew it was really Dave Grohl's house, I pressed pause as they were walking really quickly through the mansion, and it has Wild Stallion shit all over the walls. Like, I mean, I guess they could have redecorated.
They probably put him in there because they thought he was gone for the week.
I guess, but it seemed like a lot of work.
Because
yeah,
they have like a shit ton of stuff in the back that they were packing.
They photoshopped it and hung it there. Yeah.
I did double check. I wanted to see though if really quickly is it really like Foo Fighters shit, Nirvana, like, and it was just so fast. But no, it was Wild Stallion shit everywhere. But yeah, I'm tired of him, man. There's other rock stars.
Was Jesus smoking a joint there? That'd have been dank. See, this scene, like she's not traveling around in a fucking phone booth. And the thing is, people forget that the opening of the first movie shows that crystal coming out of the sky. And then when it hits the ground, it takes the shape of a phone booth. So it just takes the shape of something that will like look normal in whatever time they're going back to. So nowadays you think like, oh yeah, of course they're not going to use a phone booth. There are no fucking phone booths around. What if they were like the fucking whole thing was taking the shape of like a cell phone? You could just pick up your cell phone and travel around in time.
I don't know. They live in one of those annoying neighborhoods that doesn't have sidewalks. I hate those.
Amazing. It's dang shit.
So what do Bill and Ted, I mean, they live in that house in a decent enough neighborhood in California. I guess maybe they have royalties, but they don't really do anything for work anymore, do they?
Yeah, apparently they're still doing stuff. They just don't sell like a lot. One really funny scene we talked over was that scene where they're like, what are we going to tell our fans? And like, cause,
oh yeah. Like Barbara, we haven't heard from her in a year. Yeah.
Cause Ted's thinking about selling his guitar and just giving up. See, that was the thing. That's another reason the daughters are here. Cause it represents the fact that they're getting older you know, that whole thing, like as you age, you're wondering, like, is this the path, you know, that's best for me? Am I wasting my time? Should I like choose something else?
At what point do you abandon your dreams and get real? Right? It's that, you know, I think everybody kind of faces something like that in their lives.
So it was a clever way to like bring that and like, yeah, and then fucking see right here they come back because the other them's told them like, oh yeah, and this is another thing because like you think that there must have been like cut stuff or they just like had them take parts of the script out of the original script because they couldn't shoot it of the princesses doing stuff because from the beginning they didn't want the princesses in the movie. And apparently, like, from what I hear, that might have been something the studio made them do because there's, like, a weird homophobic thing going on in the 80s with, like, oh, if you have a movie with two buddies and they're always together, you got to put something in the movie to let us know they ain't gay, though. So apparently...
But how about them saying fag in both movies is enough? Like
exactly.
They call each other, like, there's enough of that.
They probably had them add that, too.
Oh.
So, like, fucking, here they are, like, they put in these princesses, and then in part 2, they had nothing to do with them, because it's like, we don't know what to do with them. So in this movie, it's like, yeah, now we have an idea of something they can be doing as Bill and Ted are doing their adventure, and it just seems like it got cut out, and now it just looks like they have nothing to do again.
I don't think that was anything, like, gay people in movies in the 80s, I don't even think people would have came to that conclusion because that really wasn't a thing in media. And if somebody gay was represented in the media in the 80s, they were flamboyantly, obviously gay, right? It's not like today where, you know, a straight guy could be a gay guy, a straight looking dude, you know? I don't know. I would have never thought Bill and Ted were gay.
I guess it's fucking studios.
We're going to fix it. I really appreciate Bill. Alex Winter is really giving it his all, though. You can tell he's really into the project and, you know, he's really into playing the character. He feels more like Bill than Ted feels like Ted sometimes to me, but Ted seems to be the more depressed of the two. I don't know.
See, they should have played up on that, and they kind of are because he's thinking about selling his guitar.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense.
It could have been a conscious decision, too, to scale it back, like his performance, too, because I remember for a while he did get typecast as, like, the dude guy. Like, oh, dude, like, that was, like, his repertoire of roles he's playing. And, like, I remember he was quoted as saying, like, he didn't want to be one of those actors whose legacy was, like known for one character. See, people were like, oh, why doesn't he project his voice anymore? Like, yes way, Ted. Like, oh, he sounded so happy.
You dick, Ted.
Yeah, like, I'm just thinking maybe, like, when you get older, your voice just naturally gets weathered and fucking more low pitch. So maybe if he did that now, he'd just sound fucking angry like he's yelling.
Keanu
so
just sounds
reason.
weird. He sounds like he's trying too hard.
I will say he also looks extra old without the facial hair because Keanu Reeves has had a beard.
From what I hear, they didn't ask him to shave. He just showed up like he shaved it. Like, oh, this is the Ted face. I gotta do it.
Oh, well, I would have been totally fine if he would have had the beard, even though he would look like every other Keanu Reeves movie the last 20 years. But he does.
He looks super pale.
Yeah, I mean, he looks a little gaunt, and I don't know.
Why are you white shaming him, Mac? White shaming.
He's got the after you shave pale face. You know, it's got to hit the sun for a little bit.
He did that thing from The Mask where he rubs his face on the dog.
Hey, was any of the delays at any point throughout this last fucking 30 years due to Keanu Reeves saying no? Because he was super hot in the 90s, and you know what I mean? Were there attempts that were blocked by him, or was he always down?
Yep, that's what it seems.
Oh, wow.
Like he talks about how he never has as much fun as when he's on the set making with Alex Winter doing Bill and Ted.
But, like, you think that would just be because, I mean, his availability, but have it stop. He could have said no to a Matrix movie here and there to make room for it. He was super
John
into
Wick?
Well, no, I'm saying in the 90s. Like,
they didn't want to do, like, the Matrix movies, weren't they gone by the time they wanted to do?
Well, I didn't know. Were they talking about it at all in the 90s, late 90s at all? Or I didn't know. I don't know. The earliest I heard them talking about this was when I was in high school, probably like 2002, 2003. That's the first I heard about it.
Apparently, like, they always thought, like, yeah, we will do another one if we have a good idea, but they never just had an idea until roughly 10 years ago. And then that's when they started, like, apparently they were over at the writer's house because they're buddies and just like to hang out. and that they dropped the idea on him, and that's when the first time it became even a thing, the idea to do it.
I remember hearing some kind of blurb or openness to it when they released Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure on DVD. And I don't know if it was a special feature, or if it was just reading like a magazine that correlated with that release, but that's when I first started hearing about it.
See, we just saw them talking to I'm so fucking terrible with names. Jimi Hendrix. I couldn't think of his name.
Jimi Hendrix. He said Joe, like, yeah, you fucked up Carlin's name earlier too.
So
Bill Carlin is what you called him?
Hell yeah. And then so he goes, oh yeah, I ain't gonna do it. So, and then we go right to this scene, which seems like it should have came later. Like after some more shit with Bill and Ted doing something, or the princess is doing something.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I really wanted fucking director's cut. See, and that's what's I'm such a Bill and Ted fanboy that I could have fucking watched a 3-hour long movie, but like most people don't know who Bill and Ted is now, and they're not gonna. They need to, give them a fucking 90-minute wrapped up movie and all this shit.
And I think a reason why they picked Satchmo here, Louis Armstrong, to be in the movie is Jimi Hendrix is obvious because visually you can dress somebody up like Jimi Hendrix and everybody knows it's Jimi Hendrix, right? Because he's got such an identifiable look, the ascots, the afro, the hippie look. Okay, now you could say, well, why did they get Louis Armstrong? They could have got Miles Davis. Well, because Miles Davis, yeah, he plays a horn too, but he just looks like a black guy playing a horn. Louis Armstrong, he had a very identifiable voice. When he talked like this, we all know who he is, right?
Oh yeah.
I think it's shit like that. They have to find something.
Can you talk like that the rest of the?
Yeah, he talks like that, and he makes that little "I got a shit" face. But,
I see stars blue.
Yeah, it's fucking. He sounds like Frank Oz has his hand up his ass. What? This is funny.
Oh yes, that top hat.
Yeah, Bill's giving it his all here. He kind of comes off like the roadie from Wayne's World. I beat him to death with his own shoes.
I love he's rubbing his chest.
He's doing a fucking Keith Richards, like that fucking stance he does, and Johnny Depp in the fucking pirate movies.
Apparently, I read that Alex Winter went back and took some acting lessons when he found out that they were making a movie because he hasn't worked for fucking 20-something years.
Well, he did a better job than Keanu.
I think they both do fine. Like, they're just older now. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's fine. The only difference is Bill's character. He's the optimistic one, like nonstop throughout the movie. Ted ebbs and flows. Like right now, Ted's kind of positive and he's kind of happy. But there's other points where he's the negative Nelly of the two. But Bill's always trying to like pick him up. I don't know. It is what it is.
He's a realist. He knows like, oh yeah, it's not all gonna be positive. There's some fucking bad shit that happens too.
Well, the quote of the movie for me is, "I'm tired, dude.
I'm gonna sell my Les Paul."
Exactly. If I could get as much as money as he got fucking offered, I'd probably sell it too.
Yeah, there's no way.
They were like, oh, fucking Ted fucking did that one-hit wonder guy. Yeah, I could probably get some more money out of this. What's funny, though, is like, even if they were one-hit wonders, they wouldn't fall this hard, like, to the point where they have, like, 3 fans. Like, what are we going to tell our fans? Well, I'm sure Stacy will be fine, and we haven't seen Joe in, like, 8 years. Like, that's funny, but, like, they're fucking Vanilla Ice still can, like, pack a stadium every once in a while.
He can't pack a stadium, but he can probably play a club and get 50 to 100 people show up.
Yeah.
You know, as big as they were, like they implied they were huge on Time Magazine, Rolling Stone Magazine. You would think, however big they were for that flash in the pan,
I love that line there where he's like, I didn't know he had it in us. And he goes, but you do. And he pulls the CD out. I laugh at that every time. But you do. They got the London Calling album there. Did they just make a fucking wild? See, I think the albums are just made to look like other albums.
Yeah. Fucking Ted looks like Willy Wonka. Ridiculous.
See, look, they're not even there to see him anymore, but they're still doing the charade.
Yeah, that's really
just to fuck with us. And the CD just looks like they drew it with crayon, however you say it. The fucking cover.
What are you doing in my house?
Oh yeah.
And I like that. It's they had to do the announcement, just like they do on some like very special episode of some sitcom. Dave Grohl, everybody.
Oh yeah. See, if they did like, oh, this was an alternate universe of Bill and Ted. What if like he was still in Nirvana and fucking see, I'm blanking on his fucking name.
Kurt Cobain.
Kurt Cobain didn't kill himself. See, they could have done shit like that too. That'd have been cool.
Well, then you can't have Dave Grohl in the movie because that's in bad taste. Maybe, I don't know. That would have been funny. I think Kurt Cobain would have been better. Jimi Hendrix is fine. You'd expect him to be in it. I'm trying to think who's a very, very known drummer. I mean, you don't want to.
Surprised they didn't use Slash.
Slash is a whore too. I could see them.
They like Slashy for Slash.
They could have opened the door and be like, "This is Slash's house." Yeah, I don't know. What? Who's a drummer that they could have put in that would have been identifiable? I mean, I don't even think they could have. They couldn't have even done like Keith Moon or somebody. Nobody would know who that is.
Travis.
Yeah, it would probably. You're right. It probably Travis Barker is just like Dave Grohl, where it's like, does anybody really listen to Travis Barker's music anymore? But yet he shows up in every fucking thing because he's just a talking head now at this point, just like Scott Ian was, like, right? And everybody knew Scott Ian because he was always on all those VH1 shows, but nobody was really buying Anthrax records at that time. And I kind of feel that's how Dave Grohl is. I get it. Foo Fighters are popular, but if you look at all the numbers, man, they're not that popular. They're not that big. They get more hype and press than they actually sell records. It's really weird to me. And he's just a guy that always shows up at every event.
You got to do it on a curve, though, because basically nobody sells records these days.
No, that's true. But even when records were selling, they never sold that many records. Like that many. I don't know what it is. Some people strike this weird balance of, well, he's just more of a celebrity. It's like Marilyn Manson. Marilyn Manson never sold a shit ton of records, but he was just so infamous. He was more of a celebrity, a household name, because of his, like, the scandals behind him and shit. So when you think Marilyn Manson, somebody that was of the wiser, they would think, oh, this guy probably plays stadiums. No, he never did. He's never played fucking more than like theater sized places on his own. And even when he goes out these days, he has to co-headline and they play sheds. He's never been an arena act. Yeah. That belly looks real, but it can't be.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, Jesus.
Our boy, fucking Yeager, he did the visual effects.
Looks very real.
Kevin Yeager also did the visual effects for fucking Bogus Journey.
I mean, Keanu looks like he's got a bit of a gut going on, but yeah, not that gut. That's funny.
He does the prison one too.
They got to get out of there without knowing what they're doing, so that their future selves don't know, and so they just fucking put buckets on their heads and try to get out without.
Yeah, to me that gag was a little confusing. I don't know if it was. I think it was a little missed. I mean, I get it, but it's
liar. You didn't get it.
I like how I think it's cool how they brought the dad back.
See, they brought back in part one, fucking Rufus. There was that plot point that like, oh, they couldn't just spend all the time in the past they wanted because the San Dimas clock is always ticking. So keep it on you. But in part two, they literally like fucking like they leave to go learn their instruments for years and then come back, and it's like, oh, that logic doesn't work. It doesn't matter anymore. But now they brought the first one logic back, that where they have a.
I kind of laughed when he just like he turned his dad to dust and he just gives that look. I think that's kind of funny.
He danked him to dust.
Yeah, he did. He kills everybody except for the people.
See, look, this looks fucking more what the kids would say, like, oh, like visually interesting. But that's not nearly as memorable as just a black void, and they're just fucking falling for a long time.
Yeah. Want to play 20 questions?
How you doing?
It's Neil Armstrong?
Yeah, Neil Armstrong.
That's how bad with names I am.
That's what I'm saying. Jimmy, if you put Jimi Hendrix in your movie, you can literally cast any black guy as long as he's got the wig and the mustache.
Whoa,
right?
man.
Like,
whoa.
I'm just saying. Right? They don't give a shit what he looks like if he really looks like Jimi Hendrix, as long because he's got that fucking afro and the mustache and the outfit. You know what I'm saying? Whereas like
Axis bold as love.
The exception is Abe Lincoln. I guess you could have said they could have put any skinny dude in a hat and a beard and called him Abe Lincoln. That guy was a good Abe Lincoln in the first movie.
See, that guy didn't fucking win an Oscar, but that stupid ass fucking Lincoln movie did. What the fuck? Like the Academy is stupid.
That movie was boring, man. I went and saw it because
you're talking about the vampire one?
No, we're talking about the Daniel Day-Lewis.
That one didn't win a
Spielberg
fucking
movie.
Oscar either. That's how fucking stupid they are.
No, I remember I had to go see Link. I didn't have to, but this course I was taking, they were offering some extra credit if I went and saw the Lincoln movie, and I gave my ticket stub or whatever. It was stupid, but I went and saw it, and man, it was nothing but blue hairs in this place and just hacking and fucking. All I remember from seeing Lincoln is this old man getting up to, I guess, go to the bathroom, and he couldn't find the exit, and he kept walking across the screen back and forth like a lost old guy with with Alzheimer's, and everybody's like, "Get down!" He's like, and I felt so bad for him, and then he eventually went out the back door, like the fire exit, and he let all the light in, and they're like, "Ah!" And he's like, "Oh, this isn't the exit," and he kind of kept back in, and he kept shuffling around more. I swear it was like a fucking comedy skit.
Fucking idiots. Fucking old people are stupid.
I was the only thing it was missing is I was waiting for his fucking pants to fall around his ankles and a cummerbund to flip up, because it was just depressing to look at. Like, I hope I'm never this
waiting
guy.
for someone to come in there and him.
Yeah, that too. And the movie was really long, and I'm not. What's that?
It's gonna have to get beeped out.
Yeah, probably. I remember that's the only time I turn off my phone in a movie. I'm that guy. But this particular time, man, this movie was fucking long and it was boring the shit out of me. And I at least had it on like all the way dim. And I opened my phone to the side and I cupped it, and it was on dim anyway, just to look at what time it was. This fucking old lady next to me is like, "Excuse me, put your phone away. It's a movie." And I don't know. It was just a horrible audience, man. I don't want to see a movie.
Why the fuck didn't you just leave and get your money back?
Why didn't you just tell her to fuck off?
Yeah, I guess I could have. I already had the stub. That's all I needed. But I usually, it's like if I see a movie, I kind of want to see it through, unless it's absolutely terrible. Like, it has to be really.
So he liked the movie.
Look, fucking Jimi Hendrix is fucking this song with that guitar. He's making love to it.
Yeah, and it's cool. They got a classical guy, but it's like Beethoven all over again. But they just got Mozart. They moved on to the next.
Yeah, what if they just brought back Beethoven? Like, oh, we have a history with Beethoven. Hey, Beethoven.
Yeah, that'd been funny.
Here's the scene from the fucking original trailer.
And the effects, the bodysuits, they look awesome. Like, I was looking at them, I'm trying to see if they look fake. I'm like, these look pretty real.
I saw a picture of fucking Alex Winter on set wearing it. Yeah, they were actually.
Yep, our boy Yeager.
It wasn't CGI or anything.
But I'm saying it doesn't even. It could almost pass for real flesh and real skin. It looks real good.
Yeah, what I thought was going to happen here, like, at first they're like, no, you're not going back. We're going to, like, basically these guys are going to strong arm them and basically leave them there and then take, that could have made, like, kind of a little plot inconvenience for them to have to overcome. Like, they're locked up in prison and all the guards are like, whoa, what the fuck happened to you guys? I guess you're the same people. Like, it doesn't fucking make sense that you're somebody else, but like that could have been interesting. But like, yeah,
kind of like Ernest Goes to Jail.
Yeah. Hey, look at what just being in shape and having a beard on his face. Look how young it makes Keanu look, because he looks way younger. Just having hair on his face.
Exactly. Fucking see, that's the thing. That's why women in Hollywood got to get fucking Botox and all this stupid shit. You can just grow a beard if you're a dude.
Dude, Alex Winter looks fucking weird. He looks awesome.
That handlebar mustache just makes my fucking panties moist.
So I'm a huge fan of prison movies, and I just want to see this movie.
I'm a fan of prison.
No, I like movies. Yeah, I just want to see the whole movie of Bill and Ted in prison. Bill and Ted go to jail.
Right.
Fucking hilarious.
Yeah, they wouldn't make that because the fucking people were like, no, we can't let people think they're gay. They're gonna be fucking butts in prison.
I mean, you could just imagine them like walking off the bus, walking in after they've been issued their, prison uniforms, and just them talking to each other as they're looking around, getting kissy faced. And how are we gonna make it in here, dude? It'd be funny.
Oh yeah.
They gotta have a payphone somewhere in here.
That shot's funny too. Fucking Bill, like, looks like it's from.
What is the robot? Did the robot say non-heinous? What did he say? He said something like that. He said like non-triumphant. This non-triumphant.
Dang.
I was looking at pages of the original script, and in the original script, they were actually supposed to be playing guitars. I guess it makes sense, like, that they don't have guitars. But without guitars there, it doesn't really feel like they're singing a song. Like, were they singing a song?
They're doing one of those chain gang kind of fucking stomp your feet, holler songs.
Yeah, but if the movie had just a little bit more of this, it would be substantially better.
More like
they're most non-triumphant.
Yeah, more like finding, just Bill and Ted in crazy predicaments and alternate.
Yeah, I think they should have explored this more and made it more of a focal of the movie.
Yeah, kind of like they did in the second one.
Well, no, I think it should have been, because I think this is all the same timeline, but it should have been about them visiting them in different timelines, different alternate universes, and they could have just went anywhere with that. You could have had the prison Bill and Ted. You could have had whatever. I mean,
see, one thing I love about fucking the second movie is it just like it's a time travel. It's not about time travel. Like when the first movie, it's a sequel to a movie about time travel, and time travel happens like maybe twice in the movie, and it has nothing to do with the plot. Or like I was so excited to see what they did with this one. And it's just kind of like an amalgamation of the first two. Like imagine if like the third one was just like a fucking Bill and Ted, like what's the most just something you never expect, and that's what it is. Like fucking, like it is just a prison movie or something. I don't know.
No, I would have loved that. I'd be all about it. Because they don't make any prison movie comedies. They're always serious. People getting fucking shanked and shit. I think that would. Well, I guess Ernest Goes to Prison was
Longest Yard. Ernest Goes to Jail.
I guess you're right.
What's that? There's a comedy prison one. Fuck, what's it called?
Get Hard.
No, there's another one. I can't fucking think of it.
How do they know to go back to some random year and get this random person?
Fucking, they got fucking knowledge that we don't.
What do you think of Rufus's daughter, Kristen Shaw? I don't know. Do you think she's annoying, or do you think she's all right?
I'm just confused. Like, if they know the future, how did they not? How did they not see
I love this.
Like,
this is a great little thing. She literally just said, "Oh, there is an Egyptian pyramid in San Dimas," and then she asked her where she are. She goes, "I'm not telling you where I am." She just said that. She just said, "There's now an Egyptian pyramid in San Dimas."
I think that was on purpose. Like her mom's that dumb, or she's that dumb.
Or maybe like she meant where. Maybe she needs like, yeah, I don't know.
I guess coordinates. The Kid Cudi thing. Kid Cudi or whatever his name is he like super popular to be in this movie?
I don't know. That annoyed me.
Like I know the name Kid Cudi,
but should have got Kanye West.
I'm saying like Post Malone would make more sense. Like someone
that would have been great.
That would have been cringe.
Oh, dude, Post Malone was in that Netflix Marky Mark movie.
That would have been great.
No, he was in this movie with Mark Wahlberg. What was it called? It's the film Netflix reboot of Spencer for Hire.
What?
You cut out for us, baby.
I cut out?
Still there?
My hair?
You still there, Aaron?
I'm here, man. Can you hear me?
Oh, fuck.
He fucking fell out of the conversation. But he's got a jacket that says Cutter.
No, I didn't, dude. Hey.
Fucking beta.
What? Is he still cutting out?
Now it says he's gone. He might join again. But yeah, fucking.
He's like, no, I didn't, and then disappeared.
Hello? Am I
here?
Here? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Am I here?
It's non-triumphant. I don't know why I got fucking muted. You couldn't hear me all of a
We're
sudden.
losing time. The movie's going so fast and it's so short that we miss like a good 5 seconds of like things we could have been talking about the movie. Say something.
Hey, how long were the original ones? Because I wanted to see if they were really much longer, if it was just all pacing in this one. That was so fucked up.
I think they're all around the same, yeah.
But they feel better paced, yeah. In the second one especially.
I think this, I don't know, like, is it good pace that the movie flies by? Technically, people would say that.
No, I think this is too fast.
Well, they've only got till 7, what?
Yeah, they got a few hours.
In real life.
They're kind of doing a thing where the movie takes place in real time. So, like, once they find out you have this much time, that's roughly about the time left in the movie.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the first two are better paced and they're not too fast. I would rather have a movie that's too fast paced than slow paced, but
I noticed that I watched the Red Letter Media review of this movie.
I started it.
And they brought up a little thing that I didn't notice, but like it's pretty funny. Like, okay, so the daughters just got sent to hell in present time, right? Now, when Bill and Ted get sent to hell, they're in the future seeing their old selves. Does that mean that their daughters were literally in hell for like 40 years? But like whenever they show up.
Oh, yeah. They get killed in the future.
But like whenever they show up, it looks like, oh, they just got there.
Oh yeah, because they get.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's a movie where fucking Ted falls out of his suit when he hits the floor, so you don't got to think about it too much.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
Yeah, this is kind of like, did you guys stay tuned after the credits to see the little scene?
I did.
Fucking Max Abeta.
It was heartwarming. It was cool.
Oh yeah, we'll see it. We're gonna stay. And like, from what I heard, that's the first thing they shot for the movie, maybe.
Yep,
So yeah,
another
there's the
clip of what we don't get to see in the movie.
Oh yeah. So anytime we see like what's left of it, if it was cut out, like whatever we're seeing that's left of the princess's adventure is like just whenever they meet up with Bill and Ted. So that's what makes me think that it might have been cut. But like to find out that like it was just like, oh yeah, there was more in there in the script, but we found out we couldn't shoot a lot of stuff because of the budget. And we just had to take pages out of script. That would break my heart. Like I want more of the movie. Like I want more shit to see. Because presumably this is going to be the last time we see Bill and Ted, right?
I think they even said that somebody was asking them, like maybe it was the writers, but I think basically they've all said that this is a conclusion.
Yeah.
You know, which is refreshing, I'll say, because most of the time when people are making sequels to these long dormant franchises, it's to start it as a reboot too, and a new trilogy
Halloween.
or whatever. And yeah, well, they all do it, but like it's kind of refreshing that
It's like
you know
Jamie's last movie for Halloween, and then it's like,
Dude,
he's gonna be in the others.
Old Bill's giving me some Grandma S. Preston Esquire vibes. Granny.
I know, yeah, because he played her in the second one.
And old Ted looks like James Brolin. He looks like Amityville Horror. Yeah,
He looks so pissed off.
Fucking amazing.
Yeah, I like it though. This is all the best parts of the movies when they're just talking to themselves. 100%.
Yeah, honestly, I hated when it went back to the daughters. I'm sorry, I just couldn't do it.
Well, yeah, it's never.
You couldn't do it. That means you like turned the movie off and didn't finish it. So
I
did do it.
I actually fast forwarded until I saw Bill and Ted
so
again.
you don't even know the plot of the movie.
So I went to the future myself a little bit.
Exactly.
It's great.
This is great. But we can't be quiet and hear it.
They don't ever stay on the daughters too long before, you know, because it's so fast paced. It's not like we have to watch them for 10 straight minutes or anything else. They're in a quick scene. It goes back to Bill and Ted. I mean, it's just ping ponging back and forth. It's tolerable, I guess.
I find them like fine.
I just kind of think it's silly that they had to bring all those historic musicians back, even though Bill and Ted, because kind of, if you think about it, Bill and Ted did save the world because they went through and gave everyone instruments.
They still got
That's all
songs,
it was,
dude.
pretty much. Like everyone's like, "Oh, I can play music now."
People are like interpreting the ending as like, oh, they're basically saying that really it was the fucking daughters that say, like, no, like they're basically implying that like, oh, doing it together was what the daughters couldn't have done it without Bill and Ted. Bill and Ted couldn't have done it without them. In a way, I see it as like basically they're implying that this is the definitive lineup of fucking the Wild Stallions. Once their daughters entered the band, that's whenever things picked. Like that's the way I interpret it. Like now they're like the fucking band they were supposed to be.
Yeah,
and they probably made it so that you can like interpret it whatever way you want to.
but there was nothing shocking about the ending, like you were
Yeah,
saying.
they didn't
I
really
mean,
do anything. They just told them what to play. They didn't. They just stood there. Give them guitars.
I knew, like from second one that the daughters were going to basically be the writers or the song, because why else are they in the movie? Why else are they playing a part? I mean, it was obvious that they were going to make the daughters the writers of the song.
Is he cutting out for you too?
Yeah, just act like he's not, so that we're not.
Is that
I don't
so
know
yeah,
what to say.
this scene here, fucking our boy, the robot. This is whenever like he finds out like, oh fuck, I really fucked up. I accidentally killed your family members, and like, oh you did have the song. I feel bad now. So now he gets super clingy, and now he's basically like fucking Death from part 2.
Yeah,
I have a name.
It's funny
It's
though.
Dennis.
Go ahead, Aaron. You're talking again.
No, I'm just saying I'm blown away. This is still 40 years in the future that they put this and they get iced here.
Well, it's like San Dimas. Fucking hell always runs at the same time, no matter what. basically. Fucking,
Okay.
if Rufus was here, he'd explain it to you.
But he's not dead.
Exactly. But yeah, like there was like people like once I found out like because they did like a Comic-Con panel on the internet and fucking Kevin Smith saw the movie and he let that kind of like spoiler come out, but he did like say like, oh, hopefully they cut this out because I don't know if this is a spoiler or not. And then he mentioned George Carlin shows up, so people were like speculating like, oh, is it gonna be super like exploitational? And yeah, I think they did it in like the best way they could have. That doesn't seem like that. I was kind of thinking like they were going to do a thing where Bill and Ted, like a Back to the Future type thing, where they go back to like the first time they ever traveled through time and they're watching from the sidelines. They can't get noticed or something. And they see like Rufus presenting to a young Bill and Ted, like something like that. And like, oh, there's Rufus. And it's like, oh, Ted, we can't say anything. We gotta like, you know, we can't fuck up the timeline. So like they walk away and then like maybe we get like a little shot of Rufus looking over in their direction and kind of smiling like he knew the whole time or something like that. Yeah.
That's deep.
Now they're in hell, baby. They're in hell now, baby. It's not visually interesting, but fucking it looks like every other movie's depiction of hell though.
Yeah.
They should have used
Are
Little
we
Nicky.
watching The Hobbit?
They should have used that.
It is like Little Nicky. Yeah.
They go down there and they get dude with. I mean, Death kind of looks like the dude with tits on his head.
Fuck yes.
It does.
Ted, go with my father.
Oh shit. What are you laughing at?
Let's go, dude. Because I like when Ted gets annoyed at this robot.
See, fucking, like I was saying, my first viewing of this was so fucked up. I was just like, everything was like fucking just not working for me. I was like, I'm not getting this human. I'm not getting the robot. Why is he so clean all of a sudden? And I was just overthinking it. Like, he's just clean. Yeah, like, that's the joke. But yeah, everything, like, fucking, that sucks that, like, my first viewing of this was so fucking tarnished. And it might fucking just sour me. Like, I'll never be able to, like, watch the movie for the first time again. Like,
Yeah.
fucking.
I've had that with concerts.
Until I get Alzheimer's.
I've had that with concerts where I saw a band I liked for the first time and it was ruined by something that wasn't the band's fault. The first time I saw Iron Maiden, I had torn some tissue in my back and I was in agony. And I really should have been at home in bed rest, but I had these tickets for so long. I went to the concert
You
anyway.
were watching Iron Maiden and you felt like you were actually in an Iron Maiden.
No, true, but I was so miserable and so fucking much in pain. I wasn't enjoying any of it. And I remember I was pissing my friend off because I was harshing his fucking buzz, man. I'm like, I was just miserable the whole time. I think about that. But it can happen.
Yeah, you were watching Iron Maiden in so much pain that it was like you were in an Iron Maiden. That's the best way to see him for the first time, really. It's like 3D. That's 3D shit. That's 4D shit.
All right, so I hate how the death scene looks. I hate how like this looks, and he's playing hopscotch when that's coming up in a second. I just think it looks like shit.
Oh, see the mouth right there?
Yeah, I saw it.
Dads! Fucking Kid Cudi.
Nobody sweats. Nobody sweats in movie hell ever.
Yeah, fucking. That's another thing that's like so weird about the way movies are made now. Is they're all kind of like that. This isn't like something that like, oh, it's only in this movie. It's like if you watch newer movies now, they all kind of look cheap compared to how because they don't shoot them on film anymore. They're always shot with digital cameras now. And even if like they add fucking the film look, it's in post production. Like there's just something that's missing.
Why? How hard is it for them to have sweat on their brows? I mean, they're surrounded by molten lava. It's going to be at least a little hot in there. And for someone to say it's hot, dude, it's like in The Shining, right, where there's no breath, like when they're running through the maze outside. You know.
Yeah, it's
like
because like people are in a studio and they got shitty continuity people that aren't fucking paying attention. Like, wait, they should be like spray a little water bottle on their brow. Yeah. But then it's like, oh, we can't do that because their makeup. They just set in hair and makeup and it'll fucking run. Who knows? Nobody will fucking notice.
Hey, you know who I just thought of? Whose house they should have used? It should have been Tenacious D. They should have opened the door and Jack Black and Kyle were there.
No, because Dave Grohl exists in that universe too.
Exactly.
Yeah, because he plays. Yeah, but still, they should have just been Jack Black.
When the Mac and Zach movies come out, are we gonna have a tie-in with Bill and Ted? Like, fucking when is it gonna happen, guys? It needs
A
to.
crossover. When the world gets back in order, man. Dude, I don't think we could make a Mac and Zach movie if we wanted to, man. The fucking industry's in the shitter.
This is the perfect time. It's gonna be cheap.
It's going to be in the shitter, so they're going to be really fucking, just like, oh, we got to get greenlight whatever we can. So, a movie about two fucking guys that talk about fucking, like, killing kids and shit and, like, other fucked up shit.
No.
Greenlight it.
It's backwards, man. No one's even going to want to fund any project. So, basically, you're going to have to do it Clerk style.
You don't know. You don't know the future. You ain't no Bill and Ted.
You're going to have to do Clerk style. Like, film it in black and white.
Don't fucking Bill and Ted me on this. Fucking, I think Aaron's cutting out again, but this is the scene with death, and I would
he's
fuck
going
him.
in the future. Watch, he'll come back and say something else.
He's going through the circus of time.
He's actually in. Can we put Circuit City in our movie?
Zach, don't forget to watch.
He's doing that little mini game you had to do back in the day in the fucking Bill and Ted game. That, like, how the fuck does this work? Like, were you going through the circuits of time?
Wait, what Bill and Ted game?
I remember. That reminds me. My
You don't know about the Bill and Ted game? What a fucking cuck!
my
Wait,
cousin
what was
had
that
that
on?
game, and
NES,
she had a
LJN.
Nintendo, and I'd always sneak up to her bedroom to play it, and I didn't know the password. You have to put in like the payphone code to get into the game, and I fucking
Exactly.
never knew it.
Whenever you
I'd always have to,
selected-
even though I snuck in there, I'd always have to go ask her, and she'd get pissed off because I went into her room.
Whenever you selected start game or options, did it make like a weird lo-fi MIDI like air guitar sound?
I don't remember.
Oh yeah.
Did it feel like Bill and Ted, or did it just feel like any other game and they slapped a property on it, kind of like the Home Improvement game?
It had like a weird educational thing, like, oh,
Yeah.
go to this part in time and then put the thing that belongs in that part of time. But it wasn't educational because instead of like, oh, you found the Declaration of Independence, put that where it belongs. It's like, oh, you found like in like medieval England or something, you found a fucking toaster or something. It was weird. Like, it was fucking. Oh, this is funny. You were playing 40-minute bass solos. That's dank. I would watch Death play a 40-minute bass solo.
Definitely.
It was the highlight of your shows. So this is the thing. We find out that Death got demoted by the big guy, fucking Satan, whenever he took friends back up to the, It's funny because back in the second movie, he goes like, oh, you can challenge me to a contest. And they're like, fucking, what if you lose, you can't go back. What if we win? No one's ever won. But then they proceed to challenge him at like Battleship and stuff. That's funny. And you're led to believe that like, oh, nobody else was just dank as Bill and Ted to challenge him to board games. They were like challenging him to a fight or some kind of battle of wits in that department. And like, yeah, fucking Bill and Ted they think outside the box. And they were able to defeat Death.
It's funny too because his room kind of looks like a little Nicky room. He's got the wild stallions everywhere.
Oh yeah,
dude! I kind of I teared up a little bit during that part when they go and ask him to rejoin.
Oh yeah,
that was a good scene, and that's when they do the air guitars, and I was like, hell yeah! That's what I said. I was like, hell yeah!
This is cool too, but I wish there was a little bit more meat to this. The reuniting with Death and him being a little bit more integral. Like this should have happened a little earlier, and we could have had Death more involved.
Death in more of the movie would have been better, yeah.
But I like the whole backstory. I wish they would have fleshed it out a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. Like, so are we gonna talk? Are we gonna be man enough to admit whether or not we cried at the end of this movie? Because I'll go right out and say it. Fucking when I watch, like I say, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey is my favorite movie. I shed a tear pretty much every time I watch that movie at the end because I think that's like a perfect fucking ending. Like, oh yeah, everything's wrapped up and fucking that ending scene where they turn around, they do the high five and it freezes. Like everything is everything has a conclusion in that moment. That's a perfect moment. And so I'm thinking like this movie has to be the same way. And when we get to it, again, my fucking my first viewing of this was tarnished because of my fucking phone and all this shit. And I want to know if like the things that they're laying out, like, cause I mentioned earlier that like the fucking, the princess is going throughout different, versions of reality. We needed to see that because like they needed to set that up earlier in the movie so that whenever it comes into like part of the plot at the end, it doesn't feel like it just was spraying out of nowhere. You know what I mean? So that scene where they go and like they make a billion Bill and Ted's to go around and give fucking instruments to everybody, like that shouldn't have just came out of nowhere. We should have like that should have like led up to like we shouldn't just find out what they're doing just by some really quick dialogue that can just get lost in the noise if you're not paying close attention. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I want to know when we get to that if you guys got that right away or if you were kind of confused by like.
Yeah, no, it was a bit lost in the noise. I mean, I put it together, but
yeah, see, because the second one's ending is so perfect because you know everything during that last moment. Like they do a great job of laying out everything you need to know. This movie, it seems like, yeah, like just they had to rush something. Like everything had to be explained in really quick dialogue that you could easily miss. And I'm not a fan of that. Like, even though I don't want to feel like a movie's over-explaining everything, I don't want to just find out how it all works, like, right before something. Yeah, we'll talk about it when we get to it. But, like, we're talking over the scene with death. This is a great scene. But, yeah, I'll admit that I did shed a tear at the end of this movie because, like I said, presumably this is the last time we're going to see Bill and Ted. And so, like, yeah, we'll see if Aaron and Mac are going to be man enough to admit.
I thought it was satisfactory. I thought the ending was fine. I thought they, the song was fine. It was no God gave rock and roll to us, but it was uplifting and it ticked all the boxes. It was fine. The ending's cool.
Exactly. See, but it could have been better if they could have stuck it a little. Like they stuck the landing in a way. But they could have stuck it so much better, I think, if some of the things were kind of fucking ironed out in the editing or whatever.
I like that little scene, that clip there where they were doing the air guitar together when they reunited. And you can tell, like, William Sadler's death laughing and them was genuine. Like, that was them genuinely smiling and laughing as they were doing the take. I like stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Dang.
This guy looks like he jumped out of the Power Ranger movie.
Oh, yes. We need to do Turbo. The Power Rangers movie sometime.
That's a shit movie with those creepy, looking fucking munchy looking dudes in that movie.
Fucking the midget with the fucking beard and the long hair. Hell yeah.
They're fucking weird.
I remember watching that movie in the trailer and that guy shows up. I don't remember if I watched it in the theater or if I saw it on VHS. But yeah, this little ad lib they do. You do not just get to rock. You need to earn your right to rock.
Yeah. Well, yeah, everything Des says is great. He just should have been fleshed out more.
Exactly. He's too pale to fucking be fleshed out though.
Why couldn't, I wish they just could have rewrote. Why couldn't the importance of the band and them breaking up been
cut out again? I mean, he's in the future again.
Oh God.
You asked us a question that we need to respond to and we don't know what it is and we're losing time. Fucking movie's almost over.
Shit, we gotta do something.
See, there's astronauts here. Remember at the end, which there's that scene at the end where we find out, like, we hear you now.
Okay, I gotta answer. Do what I was gonna say. I got cut out. In the circuits of time, I got lost. No, I wish they would have made the plot point of the band breaking up and them having like a soured relationship more important to the story. Like they could have written it a way to where them reuniting Death with the band was super important, and maybe the daughters went back to hell or early in the movie, and they brought Death into the fold, and Death was actually more integral in getting from point A to B to C, right? Maybe Death was helping them. Maybe Death was with the girl. I don't know. I think they could have easily written him into the movie way earlier.
The reason they had to even acknowledge that they broke up was because at the end they had all those little newspaper clippings to kind of flesh out kind of what happened after the moment, and all that was done by like after the fact, and it wasn't written. So like the writers had to like think of a way to like kind of make all that stuff work with the movie.
I got a question. Why couldn't the plot have been simplified? Like, okay, so, and that would explain why the second one kind of went to shit as far as what happened. Okay, so the second one, whatever, it seems like, okay, they went in the future, they learned how to play, they wrote the song, everything was great. So what the fuck happened? Why couldn't they have done it like, basically, the movie could be about getting the band back together. right? Like, well, yeah, we were supposed to be uniting the world and all this stuff, but the basic shit that breaks up every band happened to them. Money, fucking ego, and it could have just been about them getting the band back together. Why that would have been fine. I would have enjoyed watching that. And then writing the song that united the world.
I mean, they kind of just did that in a way, but
in 2 seconds.
Yeah, but I think it was probably a moment where they probably came up with the idea for the ending and wanted to like, yeah, that's a cool way to kind of like, oh, what you thought wasn't necessarily how you thought, like it wasn't completely, how we meant it all along. See, I want to go back and watch them all so that I can like pinpoint like, okay, are they retconning or does this still work? Like the idea that like, oh, it wasn't because your music was just so great that it united everything. It was that, you did it all together and it righted the wrong that was going on with the circus at the time or the fucking reality. Like reality was glitching and shit, like whatever.
It must make scheduling a movie a dream and super fucking cheap when you do everything behind a green screen. Because they could have literally filmed the hell scenes and this scene on the same day. Like, all right, we're just gonna get in front of that same green screen and we'll just put a different effect back there.
Yeah. So like, here's one thing. Like, I thought like for this ending, we needed like it to be televised, like it was at the end of the second one. Because like,
yeah,
like I don't know. I know like with time travel, it doesn't matter because like, oh, it'll just always be known that it was like Bill and Ted that saved the universe. But like, yeah, I feel like for everybody to be in this moment and everything, they needed to all know what was going. In a way, part 2 kind of did what they wanted to do with this ending just as well because it was televised. The whole final confrontation with the bad guy and everything. Yeah. See, I got so many thoughts I want to say. But like I'm blanking on them, and I know like, oh, the fucking movie's almost over. Like, fuck.
Well, I would imagine, I don't know, do they show anything? It's 2020. They wouldn't be televising it. It would just be streamed. Are people like live streaming shit on their phone probably?
Yeah, maybe just show some people live streaming it in the audience.
That's the equivalent, yeah.
Yeah, like I can say, I'm glad that people are liking the movie. Like, I'm seeing a lot of positive stuff. When we could have just been seeing like, oh, like this could have just ended up just like fucking Dumb and Dumber 2 did, like where people are like fucking just shitting on it, and it's like, oh, it's awkward, it doesn't work. I'm glad that like people are liking it, regardless of if I like it or not. I'll get to at the end, but like, it kind of would have broke my heart if like after 10 years. The writers and everybody comes together and they make a movie that everybody just shits on, and to the point where they regret coming back and doing it. That would have bummed me out. So I'm glad, like,
you're happy for them and everybody else. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. These characters have always meant a lot to me. I don't know why.
Definitely.
It's weird. They're
us, dude.
It started out as just kind of a like, hey, Back to the Future did really well. Let's do something like that. And yeah. And everybody kind of, people talk about it like, oh yeah, this isn't like, fucking, it's not as big of a deal that this movie, a lot of people are liking it. This isn't like Star Wars or one of those big, like to me, this is fucking better than fuck Star Wars. Like, fuck you for even implying that Star Wars is better than this. Fuck you. How dare you?
It's trash. You go back and you watch it, and it's just like, what the fuck?
Fuck yes.
And the newer ones suck ass too. The newest one's horrible.
Well,
so yeah, here we are. We're finding out like, oh, they already found out like, oh, it's the girls, and they're like, oh, we don't play music though. We listen to music and we take what we like. And, like that's all writing music is. Like in a way, like. Everybody is kind of like they're taking, you'd be surprised at how many fucking bands just like, yeah, when I wrote this song, I consciously took this other song I like, and I was like, let me kind of do what that riff does that I like, but like change it to something that I think would have been better. And it's like, that's just fucking, that's all we're doing.
Yeah, it kind of feels weird that we're at this point in the movie at an hour and 15 minutes in. Like, it feels like this is like the very end, but it's clearly got like 15 minutes left, which is probably there's credits too. Yeah. Well, so yeah, I mean, without the credits, man, it's even shorter. It reminds me of Rocky 4, which, by the way, that whole thing with them doing a director's cut 30 million years later is ridiculous. But Rocky 4, I always imagined that script was probably 15 pages long, because if it was, you have all the boxing scenes where there's no dialogue, obviously, and then 4 fucking scenes in the movie are extended monologues where it's just an 80s music video. There's literally nothing going on in that movie when you think about it. It's all just flash.
So here, yeah, they're finding out, this is where they just lay it on you really quick. They're like, oh yeah, we can make a bunch of infinite duplicates of ourselves, kind of powered by this, alternate timeline, kind of alternate universe technology we're bringing into the story. And like, we can all just give instruments to all these people at the same time. And that's what fucking saves the universe, is the fact that everybody's playing the song together. In a way, like, it's kind of smart because like they don't have a song written. It's kind of bringing in the idea of freeform, like jazz. Like most of jazz is improv, so it's like just a bunch of musicians on a stage, and it's like let's just do something, and in a way it's smart. But like I don't know if like people that understand music and stuff like that will kind of pick up on that. I don't know, but like yeah, so it's kind of
it's just the coming together aspect of it.
Yeah, it's a cool way to end the movie and kind of like change the interpretation of what we thought, and so. Like, God, what was it? There was something I wanted to say and I forgot what it was. It always happens. Like, I'm on the spot. I got to think of it. The movie's going to end. And then I feel like I can't talk about it anymore because then we move on to a different movie.
I mean, we're at the end of the movie. Is it appropriate to kind of talk about our general thoughts about it yet? Or
fun fact, this is around the time you guys kept messaging me, asking me where I was. I was trying to finish the damn movie.
Yeah, we did the live stream earlier.
Well, like he's asleep. He's sleeping.
I think I said this on the Cinema Enema we did, but some of the downfalls of it, they're not really downfalls. I have a hard time being too upset that it feels like a 2020 movie, the way it looks aesthetically, the Kid Cudies, and the lack of like all the 80s and 90s shit I like.
Right.
I mean, because the 80s, the first movie was very representative of the year it came out in the 80s. It was much and the 90s movie was very much early 90s in the second one. So this is just a fucking capsule, just like those were. So I can't really hate it. But I guess the selfish person in me wishes, I think you can have the Kid Cudies and you can have all shit. But come on, Bill and Ted would still like Eddie Van Halen. You could throw Eddie Van Halen in there too. It would have been fine. The soundtrack is lame. You got fucking Weezer in the soundtrack. You got a bunch of fucking indie rock cucks in this. It's not Bill and Ted. It's not like that second soundtrack or even the first soundtrack.
See, I want to go like I want to fucking get the.
It's not Metallica.
Blah, 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 my soul to keep.
The metal cucks is what he wants, not the indie cucks.
Exactly.
Yeah. See, I was hoping that the song they ended with was "In Time We'll Be Dancing in the Street All Night."
That would have been a cool throwback. Yeah.
All night. See, now you can go back and watch that movie and think, oh, is this what they were referring to? That time they say the world, in time we'll be dancing in the streets? It's got it all fucking, it kind of made me think like, oh, like that watch they gave fucking from Rufus. It says, in the end, it'll all make sense. See, I hate this right here. See that? They told him like, oh, put the mic in front of your mouth and just we don't know what you're gonna say because the music isn't recorded yet, but yeah, we'll cut away. But then the fucking editor just shows that his mouth isn't really moving. Did you notice that? He goes, San Dimas, make some noise, and his mouth is just kind of like, fucking idiot. See, yeah. I wonder if like the editing kind of happened like a lot during the whole shutdown and like fucking just made the editing weird too. Something.
What are Bill and Ted playing? I hear no guitars in this fucking weird Mumford and Sons type song that they're singing. It's I don't know. It's weird. It's too modern.
Yeah, we didn't even mention that the fucking the Rufus's wife has the reason she wanted to kill Bill and Ted was because like, oh yeah, we've been looking over the prophecy and there's other interpretations they're bringing up, like, oh, like with the Bible and stuff. People, oh, there's other interpretation. Maybe the whole time what changes the world and brings us all into universal harmony is the death of Bill and Ted. And the fucking like, how the fuck did you think that? Like fucking his daughter's saying and shit. So yeah. So they play together. It writes fucking the weird rift going on in time and all this. I think like, yeah, we needed some shots of people watching it being streamed or whatever. shit like that, play as they're playing along at home.
We'll get to see on the credits where they had that contest, right?
Yeah, see, I was gonna say, like, I remember whenever they were saying, like, oh, this movie's still coming out and they're not gonna postpone it to the next year, I got kind of worried. Like, I was like, oh, they must not have faith in it. But seeing the ending and how it ends, like, oh, we all got to be in this together, it just seems like, oh, this was such a perfect, like, fucking happy accident that this happened to be coming out, like, when we're all inside fucking watching, you know, we'll be inside watching together, and, like, we need it to come out while this is happening. It's possible. Like, I don't know, yeah.
Why didn't you and Mac, wanted to enter that contest to be featured in the credits, though, and you guys didn't do it, right?
Yeah, fucking just a bunch of shit came up. And I think this ending, they're trying to recapture the ending of the second one where it's like that perfect moment and then it ends. See, the universe is in universal harmony. Everything's back. That's what fucking Rufus said originally. And then it just ends. And I think, like, because this is the last movie, we need an epilogue, right? We need to see Bill and Ted, like, back in the fucking garage or whatever. Like, I thought that, and they mentioned it during the fucking Red Letter Media review too. Like, we needed that kind of wrapping up. Like, we don't want to just fucking, like, you know, it's over and we're out. Like, we're going to leave out the back. We want fucking in depth.
What if they just had, like, a scene where it was a rejuvenated Bill and Ted in their garage with death, like, just writing for their next album, and just enjoying life again and enjoying music again?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
Ted didn't sell his Les Paul. He's got his Les Paul or something.
Yeah, I mean, God knows they had enough runtime to spare. They
should have had them in the garage with their daughters.
Hell yeah, the daughters are there, Death's there. They're like, "What are we doing for our next album, guys?"
They're all practicing.
Oh yeah. There was a cool story. There was a girl who she was like a Make-A-Wish kid, and she was a big fan of the Bill and Ted series, and like she had some kind of illness, and like her wish was like, "Oh, I want to." Because I don't think she was gonna make it to like the release date of the movie, and they flew her out to be on set and shit, meet Bill and Ted. I remember seeing that. It was pretty donk.
Yeah.
And I want to say, from memory, I don't remember exactly what she looks like, but from my memory, I want to say she did make an appearance in these credits somewhere, if I remember right, like towards the beginning of the starting of the credits.
Well, I saw a couple little kids at the beginning, so maybe it was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Why'd they put that fucker from Jimmy Kimmel in here? And Weird Al Yankovic's in here too, somewhere.
Yeah, I noticed them.
Yeah, so it's like, did they have a lack of submissions that they got famous people to? No, I'm pretty sure if they submitted, it's like, well, we're automatically going to pick Weird Al Yankovic. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, are we going to do the after credit scene now, or do we have to wait till the credits are done?
We can go ahead and talk about what we thought of the movie, and by the time we're done,
and then I'll read questions too, and then we'll get to the, okay, yeah. Well, I want to say what I felt about the movie. I felt this movie was as good as it could have been. I think it kind of met expectations. I guess I was like you, and I wanted to lower them so to open up the potential for me to be blown away.
Yeah, he got blown away.
yeah.
He's blown away.
You're cutting out for us, but yeah. Oh, we got Weezer playing on the soundtrack.
Man, hold on.
Okay, you're back.
Did you go into the future? What happened?
Thank God we're at, I know, because I leave the call and I come back in the call, and that always brings me back. So that's what I do. Yes.
Get out of the freaking payphone, dude.
Yeah. Anyway,
connection's bad.
I give the movie a 7 out of 10, and I'm not sure if that 7 out of 10 is like totally deserved. If I'm just, I don't know if I'm giving it a 7 and not a 6 because of nostalgic and it's Bill and Ted.
That's a rookie number, man. Where's the point?
We're not doing the points anymore. We don't do the points.
Ew.
Well, if we did the points,
I do points when I can't decide if I'm like, is it this or is it this?
Well, then I would say
I gave it a
6.5.
6.6.
I get 6. You're going down. You're down.
Why 6? Why not 0.5? Why not like?
Why not? Why can't I just give it what I want to give it? It's not your rating. It's my rating.
If we're giving it the points, then I'll say 6.5 because that makes it easy on me. I liked it. It was fine. And if you're gonna be kind of fine and good enough, at least it's not 2.5 hours long. I mean, whatever, an hour and a half is.
I would have rather it had been.
Yeah, I mean, it might have helped a movie like this. I don't know, but it was fine. my nitpicks are just nitpicks. Overall, it's I don't know.
I feel
I
like
don't
this
know.
movie will be good a little bit later down the road. Like I'll go back and watch it and be
Yeah.
like, all right.
I'm hoping that my opinion will change, later on too. Like, hopefully,
That happens sometimes. You watch something, you're like, all right, it wasn't that bad, I guess.
If we just had more of that fucking Bill and Ted in prison type stuff, if they just visited a couple of wacky versions of themselves,
my overall opinion of the movie is completely like based on what I wish could like the alternate, history where fucking they got a bigger budget and could shoot like more on location stuff. Like basically, my final thought was like that really shitty first viewing, like that I came out of that like that was a 5 out of 10. Like I didn't like I don't know I was just middle of the road, but like I watched it again the next day, and I was able to like fucking like okay yeah I noticed more things, and like okay now that I actually heard what was said at the end, like okay, because yeah I thought that was fucking it got lost in the noise for me watching it first time and shit, and we needed to know everything that fucking was going on, and it needed to all make sense by that time. But like, yeah, like I ended up like giving it a 6, like out of 10, and I was, yeah, I fucking, I wish the story, fucking, I don't know. Like I mentioned, like, oh, I spent all this time saying I'm trying not to fucking overhype it so that I can't, that doesn't mean I'm gonna successfully be able to do that. I think in a way I was saying that, but still like really kind of hoping and expecting like, I'm gonna like it though. I'm probably gonna like it because yeah, I love the characters. Like they could just be taking a shit through the whole movie. I'll probably like it. But like, yeah, didn't turn out that way. Hopefully, I think it's decent. It's definitely worth the rent. I'm definitely gonna buy it.
You
Like,
already
I already did, and I'm gonna.
You already did, dude.
I'm totally gonna buy the Blu-ray again when it comes out, because like I love the series enough to want the entire series and everything. Like I'm excited for when my nephew's old enough and I can be like, you gotta check out these movies, though. They dank.
only if they release a 4K box set of all of them, I'll rebuy it. But
I don't think they will. Nobody buys fucking 4K but you.
nobody buys Blu-rays. Nobody buys any like
I do.
physical media.
Both.
I buy 4K, man.
But fucking 4Ks is even less than Blu-ray.
Nobody's buying any, they still sell DVDs for God's sakes. Nobody's buying any of that stuff. It's all about digital. But I'm just saying, regardless,
That Blu-ray box set looks fucking great though. Like our boy the goat recently got it. He was like, "Wow, I'm surprised how fucking good these transfers look."
of what one? What are you talking about?
That excellent collection,
Oh,
Blu-ray collection.
yeah. Well,
We're at the ending scene now. So this can kind of be our fucking our epilogue.
I got to read questions too. So I'm gonna.
Well, let's just enjoy the last time we're gonna see Bill and Ted.
I kind of wish that they would have done "God Gave Rock and Roll to You."
Like
Everyone
if they
sings
would
that
have
would
did
have
it
been like,
again.
"Fuck yeah,
No.
Well, technically, that's just the end credit song. They never let us hear what the actual song that they played at the end of it was. It was, yeah, we just heard that little clip of it when they were playing it acoustically. And I think it makes sense because, like, they put all this, like, oh, this is going to be a great song that changes the world. And it's like, how do you, like, even if you're going to hire, like, really good musicians to sit down and play that, like, that's too much of a fucking, like, big weight to, like, just like let us have it in our imaginations with the song.
That's what I was thinking the whole time. I was like, they have to have a song that's going to save the world, and it's 2020. Holy fuck, that's like extremely hard.
They're gonna have dubstep in there.
Yeah, I was like, what the? They're gonna fuck it up with something stupid, and then I see Kid Cudi, and I'm like, God damn it, they're fucking it up.
See, from what I heard, Alex Winter talking, this might have been the first thing they shot because he vaguely. He didn't want to give spoilers, but he described a scene that could have been this scene, but I don't know if they would have made the first thing they shot like something they need a bunch of heavy makeup for, unless they could only get Frank Yeager for so long or something. Yeah.
What this scene made me
Did
feel
you say
was
Frank Yeager?
Fucking
damn it.
yeah, Frank Yeager's from a Metal Gear Solid. I'm so bad.
This scene made me feel it was very somber. I thought it was a good little Easter egg, but it also made me sad because it's like it's like mortality, man. It's like, dude, yeah. And if in like, oh, hold on, in like 30 years, this really will be Keanu Reeves. He will be dead because Keanu Reeves is in his 50s. Keanu Reeves could be dead in 20 years. And it's like, and it made me think I'm 34. It's like, holy shit. In 20 years, I'll be 54.
Shut the fuck up, Aaron. Stop talking about that stuff right now.
Hell yeah, but you know what? As long as you're young in your mind, you never truly age. And Bill and Ted are forever young.
Hey, so what happened to their wives?
Right
Did they outlive their wives? Are they just like?
Well, no. Whenever they show up, their wives are there too. He said, "Are they here?" Because there's the pictures of them on the wall. He said, "Yeah." And then the older ones left, and he goes, "Yes and no." So like, yeah. So the older ones were there, but the younger ones probably what they were implying. Well, the older ones were the ones taking them through time. So they might be bitches. So yeah, they're there, but like they're not together. Maybe they're implying.
So we're all in agreement that it's kind of like a 6-ish. We're like 6-ish.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, whenever they were all on stage, though, I thought the girls were gonna start singing. Like I thought they actually were gonna have a song playing, and then they were gonna start singing.
See, that would have been too unrealistic because it's like we're coming up with this as we go along, like jazz, like it's just improvised.
Because they're like, oh, what do we? Because Bill and Ted are like, what are we gonna do? We got to get stuff, and they're like running around, and I thought they were gonna stop because they were gonna hear their daughters and be like, oh shit, dude,
it's gonna be amazing. They're going to start singing, "In time, we'll be dancing in
and the band
street."
didn't really start until Bill and Ted got on stage. So technically, they saved the world again because they passed out all the instruments and then they got on and shredded.
The Bill and Ted were the integral parts of the band. Like, exactly.
No.
Whatever happened to Station?
Hey, am I cutting out, guys?
Yeah,
you were. Go ahead.
Okay, because I don't know if I was getting interrupted or if I was just not cutting through. I was saying there's one little spot, one clip in the movie that feels like nostalgic Bill and Ted, and it's during the last little concert there. It's that one close up. It's the still I would crop and make it a wallpaper where it's close up on Bill and Ted, like back to back, shredding on their dual guitars, and there's like the pyro behind them. That feels like Bill and Ted, and you only get it for like a minute, like 30 seconds. For me, but that's the happy Bill and Ted.
Real quick, I want to go through what I watched this and I got it. I was like, yeah, this is a 6. And then I was here's the thing. I was like, am I putting more emphasis on this movie? Is it going to be harder for me to like this movie because I'm now an adult and I'm not seeing it for the first time as a kid? So I went through the IMDb ratings of 1 and 2, and I was shocked to notice that 1 and 2 both have 6s, and now part 3 has a 6 on IMDb.
Overwhelmingly,
but
people like this better than 2.
But here's the thing. Yeah, I was seeing that too. Those people are fucking stupid. But like I was saying, they're not really stupid. I'm happy people like it. But yeah, but I noticed just now as I opened it up to talk about it right now that part 1 went up to a 7. So people are totally rediscovering the movies, which I'm happy for. Part 2 is a 6.3, which is fucking criminal, underrated. And as of now, Bill and Ted Face the Music has a 6.5. So right now, Bill and Ted Face the Music has a higher IMDb score than part 2. And as we said, a lot of people are loving it more than part 2. And it's always shocked me because part 2 has always been like a movie. Like most people I hear talk about are like, at the most they'll say like, oh, it was an okay sequel. Like nobody, like I was always like, that was so much better than the first one. That was they just outdid the first one in every way. And then like growing up, getting the internet, finding out that most people were like, yeah, the first one's the best one. Like the second one's just, whatever. Really weird.
The second one's more original. I'm like that with all sequels though. I don't get why Wayne's World, I get it. Wayne's World 1 might be a better movie. That's a fair opinion, but people fucking hate the second one. Like it's a terrible movie. I'm like, it's more the same. How could it be absolutely terrible? Like, how could it be terrible? It's got funny gags, even if it's retreading.
It's not as classic. When I think of Bill and Ted, I think of them going through time, finding Beethoven. I don't think of them in hell. Because, I was younger when the first one came out, and it has more nostalgia for it. That's probably just all it amounts to for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So whatever happened to Station?
He's in heaven.
I assume they went back to heaven, yeah, hanging out with fucking our boy Einstein. See, me and Mac and Zach, we were kicking it with Einstein and Station back in the day. Like, we're time travelers, too.
I actually stumbled upon that thing you were talking about where they came out with Station. He was drunk, and he was editing. He says we deleted a scene in police station, and somehow station was left dangling. And then we were so crazily punch drunk, we started saying station.
See, that's something we would do. That's that makes me want to hang out with the writers, because that's totally something we would. And that's the thing with part 2 also, is that was like them and Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter were good friends. Like Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter had a big part in like bouncing ideas off for the creation of part 2 also. Like it was all of them came together and wrote part 2 and shit. Like, so I don't get why people. I just don't get it.
Station.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's nostalgia. Same Ghostbusters 1 and 2, same type of shit. I don't fucking know. I think we should read some questions though. To cap it all off on this. Are You Afraid of the Dark? The Tale of the Pinball Wizard, Douglas Janusk. He says, I fucking love your guys' theme song. Well, the credit goes to David Capper. Hell yes. It's pretty cool, man. He's hooked us up with a couple of tracks. I fucking love him, man. One of these days, I would like to throw him some money and be like, hey, man, like do a higher production one, like actually like record it, you know? Oh, what do you?
Oh yeah.
What the fuck? Are you shitting in a toilet, or are you spraying like whipped cream into something?
Pissing in a cup, dude.
Come on.
Where you been?
That's the sound effects of fucking whipped cream, bro.
He does this every.
Well, yeah, we do it on our podcast. What are you talking about?
He does it everything he ever does. So, do you piss in cups when you're a guest on like Goat Show and shit?
I haven't. I hold it because I don't know if you like be offended by that. I need to ask him sometime. Would you care if I just pissed in a cup?
Just like, excuse me, can I just stop you for a minute? I know this is random, but can I just piss in this cup real quick?
That's funny.
Exactly.
Son-in-law commentary. Arthur Morgan. He says, "I loved In the Army." Now, I used to watch it all the time when I was a kid. I don't know he was dropped on his head. Clearly, I don't know.
Oh, it's an amazing film.
He also commented on the 5-minute Son-in-law video, and he just Steven Tyler PJs. Steven Tyler PJs.
Hell yeah! See, we need to do some more Pauly Shore. Fucking the goat. He's a shorehead. We need to get him on some Pauly Shore.
I think the son-in-law commentary, I would put that in one of our top ones. I think that one was really good, and I have fond memories of that one. Are You Afraid of the Dark? The Tale of the Bookish Babysitter. Maxwell Unash, I think this might be question of the month. He says, do you think ... that if a man's nostrils are big enough, he can snort a penis?
Fuck yes, that would be the greatest. That would be like that. You've heard of mind fucking? That's a whole new definition to it.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what fucking Axl Rose was talking about. And you want to step into my world? I listened to that album at work the other day, and yeah, they could have cut out like 2 or 3 songs and had fucking just a great one album, but they needed that double album.
Yeah, I don't know. That fucking track is still cringe, though. On the cruising commentary, got a slew of comments. Oliver Klozoff, he asks, we're so close to Bill and Ted 3. How nervous are you and Zach? Okay, so obviously it's fitting. Were you nervous?
I was nervous. I was like, oh man. Like I said, I knew going into it, like, I didn't want to fucking overhype this, but it clearly is fucking overhyped for me.
I was very nervous
because I was so worried that, like, oh man, I hope it's not so bad. I hope it, fucking Ed Solomon and all these, they don't all regret doing it. I would be heartbroken.
I was, I've had that feeling before. After Metallica had released the Saint Anger album, when their follow-up record came out, I was nervous. Fine. I mean, no, but I'm saying I was nervous. But I was nervous for the next one, right? I was nervous.
I think you're cutting out again.
What?
No, you're fine.
Okay, but I know the feeling.
Yeah. See, I was emotionally invested. You don't get emotionally invested with these fictional characters. But I was gonna mention, like, we can mention we both bought on Voodoo. What'd you get with your $3 credit?
I didn't get anything yet because $3 is barely enough to do anything.
You gotta make sure that you look in your fucking email and you get the code that they sent, because I don't think it just goes automatically.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll tell you what I got. I got Homeward Bound: The Incredible Journey on fucking HD, because there's no Blu-ray of that. It was $12, but it shaved off $3. It was donk.
I'll wait till a sale. Halloween time, they'll have some kind of sales, and maybe I can actually get something.
Do.
Yeah, probably. $3. I mean, like that doesn't even cover rental these days, is it? I don't know.
I've wanted Homeward Bound on fucking in 1080p for like I've waited for that my whole life, baby. It's a great film.
Adrian Mendoza on Cruising. He says, thanks, guys, for doing this commentary. I appreciate it. I'm sorry if you guys had different plans for this film. Zach had
Thank you, Adrian Mendoza. You are fucking dank. We don't speak enough about it. We don't fucking break kayfabe, but I act like, oh yeah, I'm just a cool guy. The fact that you exist and listen to our show fucking warms my heart. See, I'm all emotional because we watched the third Bill and Ted movie.
He's got a lot of info in this comment, though. He said Zach had a ton of great info. Here's the link of a video of the director who talks about a lot of what Zach brought up. He shares a link. He says, here's a great interview with Richard Cox, the supposed killer that Pacino stabs at the end. He talks about working with Pacino and how different the movie was when they made it than what was presented. He said, here's that link. He also says Paul Bateson, a real life killer, can be shown in this clip. From a scene from the film, The Exorcist. You can tell from his jewelry that he was part of the leather scene. Take a look. He gives another clip. He says, here's a video from Vice that delves into one of the few remaining leather bars in New York City. It's a great video. Here, check it out. And lastly, he says, Aaron's right. Nighthawks would be a great film to go with Cruising. Maniac would go well with it as well. I agree.
Oh, yeah. See, that shit's like fucking interesting. Like the whole like leather bars and all that shit. Like, yeah, I would like more movies like that where it's like fucking like, oh, people hiding out because they can't get noticed. Like they can't get seen by their fucking boss going into one of these places. That would fucking.
It's like the gym teacher in Freddy 2, right? Seeing him at that.
Oh, yeah. And like fucking Adrian, like did you see that movie as a kid? Was it a big fucking like, hell yeah, this is a movie I identify with? Like, did you know like early on that you were gay? Like, how does it like? I always wonder like fucking like what is it, like the movies that people cling to and shit. I don't even think he let us know like if he likes the movie or if he thinks it was kind of like, oh, I like the book, but the movie, it's okay, but like it could have been done better.
Or if he was offended by it, like some gay people were offended by it, right? Because
the
betrayal.
Like, let us know, baby.
Maxwell Una, she says, if you like Friedkin, you should check out Killer Joe. You'll never look at a chicken leg the same way ever again. I didn't see.
Killer Joe's funny.
Is it?
I thought I think I posted that scene when he's making him suck his chicken leg, and you're like, "What the hell is that?"
I don't know. I don't remember.
That was a long time ago.
That's got Matthew McConaughey.
That's a good movie. I've watched it like fucking 10 times. It's on Tubi.
Is that a
movie?
A horror movie or
no? Not really. No.
Is it a William Friedkin movie though?
It must be. Yeah.
Ishmael Permew. He just basically starts singing Eminem, but with us. Yeah. I'm cleaning out my closet. I'm sorry, Mama. Never meant to hurt you.
Yeah, every time you say like we're doing a cleaning out my closet episode, I think of that, and I almost chime in and say it. But then I know
I'm sorry I made you cry, but tonight I'm watching Revival House. That's what he put.
Oh yes.
Okay.
That was the original lyric. They actually made him change it because fucking Dr. Dre was like, "Who the fuck is Revival House?" And he had to change it because no one knew.
Yeah. Nowadays I would go sick him, man. I'd slap a cease and desist on him.
I'm just joking. Dr. Dre fucking turned Eminem onto Revival House.
We got to do that with that gospel YouTube channel that took Revival House Network, and we had to change ours to Revival House because we don't want to.
They're just Revival House.
No. They're Revival House Network, and then we changed ours to Revival House because I don't want there to be two Revival House networks.
What the fuck?
Yeah, they're Revival House Network.
Revival House Nation we should be then.
Yeah.
We need that fucking M.
That's fucking crazy, man. And what's funny is like they're
go ahead. You think we'd get away with doing that fucking old school NWO logo shirt, like putting the Revival House Nation or Network shirt out with the NWO, like the old school?
I don't know why we couldn't. It's not like, I think we could.
That'd be donk.
People do it all the time. They spoof logos. How many logos do y'all see that do like the AC/DC or the Metallica logos and they just change the letters, you know? People do it all the fucking time and they sell shit. I think we should do it.
Donk.
Yeah, Terminator 2 Judgment Day extended cut commentary. Mendoza says, would you guys say, this is a good question, would you guys say that the 1990 film Matrix comes close to having just as innovating CGI to Terminator 2 Judgment Day? That's actually a good question, like for its time.
It was a big deal when the Matrix came out, yeah.
It was copied a lot. Like people were spoofing the fuck out of it and the slow motion stuff.
That shot where the camera goes around his body as he's doing the pogo, or not the pogo, the limbo
thing.
Stance.
That's a really good question. I don't know if I'd be the person to ask to give a fair response because I just have so much bias towards T2. I like that better. I never liked the Matrix.
You know what's funny too is like fucking I remember when Keanu Reeves, he was always kind of like a joke Like to a lot of people, like, oh, he's so wooden and shit. I always like really liked him because I saw fucking Bill and Ted at a young age. And for a while I was saying like, oh, Keanu Reeves, he's my favorite actor. Like I always watch movies with him.
That movie Knock Knock that he's in is fucking awkward. But he needs to have more like thriller horror
He
movies.
needs a good director. Like he's good in fucking
I feel
John
like
Wick. He's kind of like fucking. He's at the same age becoming an action star in John Wick as fucking our boy, Charles Bronson was when he became an action star in the Death Wish movies.
Yeah, I was gonna say he needs to do like more thriller horror movies. I feel like he'd be pretty good for like a main character in a horror movie, like a fucking protagonist.
I remember hearing like all those stories about him, like, oh, he took a pay cut. Like he was the only well, he wasn't the only like big name actor, but he was like kind of the biggest actor.
Oh, he would take his money from like The Matrix and give it away.
Yeah, in The Matrix, he found out that like they basically couldn't pay everybody, so he just took a pay cut to make sure everybody was paid. Like he always had those stories behind him as being a cool guy.
I liked him.
And I think that's a big reason people like
him.
He kind of had a renaissance, yeah.
Oh, he's like the Dave Grohl of the movie world. Everyone's like, oh, he's such a nice guy. He's got that reputation to be the nicest guy in the business. I like him in The Gift personally, where he's that badass wife beater. I like him that.
What's that one movie where he's the surfer, but he's a cop?
Oh, fucking with
Point
Patrick
Break.
Swayze, Point Break.
What is it, Point Break?
Yeah,
Point Break. I got the Blu-ray that where they wear the fucking
That's a
president
fucking classic.
mask as the Robin Banks of Sting.
It's a classic.
Hey, Mendoza, he also said on the cruising commentary, I finally
There's
watched.
some more in there.
What?
All right, I gotta get going. I gotta fucking go do my laundry.
No, you can give it. We're gonna be done in like 2 minutes. Come on, stick around.
Well, the thing is, though, I don't do my laundry here. I have to fucking go over to the fucking building because my dryer's broke. So
All
let's wrap
right.
it up.
So no, I'm gonna read a couple questions. So Mac, you can book if you
I
want.
need to go to bed too.
All right.
Go ahead and save it and everything
Yeah.
if you need to go. We can finish.
Yeah.
Question. We need to start letting our guests know that they can leave after we finish the movie. Because I notice, like,
Josh gets
whenever I
cranky
listen to
too.
them,
Yeah.
whenever I listen to the isolated thing, and it's like they're just sitting there not having much to say, they probably do like just feel awkward as fuck. So we should probably just start letting them know that.
I mean, I guess they can if they want. I mean, sure.
Yeah.
All right. That would throw off our flow a little bit because then we stop and then we just kind of record again. Yeah, I guess. Whatever.
We aren't stopping though.
I know, but like if we stop a movie and we're like, okay, so we're done, Josh or Go, you guys can go, and then we just kind of record again and we start up again. I don't know.
Well, you
breaks
would
the
just be
flow.
like, we're gonna read some comments. If you need to leave, you can. It's fine. But we're gonna go through some comments. If you want to stay, that's fine.
All right, well, Mac, you can get the fuck out of here. That's fine. Go do your laundry.
And if they do have to leave, then like, oh yeah, go ahead and show your website and stuff where everybody can find you for.
Yeah, but we're not always consistent with how we do. 'Cause sometimes if a movie is dragging or it kind of sucks, then we'll start reading comments early, right? It's not always the same. This is kind of an interesting situation where we're actually reading comments after the credits are done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we should probably just start fucking wait till the movie's done.
Sometimes it's tough, dude.
So we're not shortchanging people.
we do some shitty movies sometimes where it's really tough.
Well, I
Like,
mean, if you have someone on the show with you, you shouldn't.
First of all, why the fuck are you still here, Mac? You just said you had to leave.
Yeah, we
I'm
could have been
saving
done by
all
now.
my stuff. I can't just dip out. I gotta fucking save it, and throw it in the thing. I'm saying you shouldn't like read. Like, what if they want to talk about something? Like
Everything you're saying, we had to cut
Joe-
out because you're not recording it.
oh, well. But,
All right.
You can't. Just
Anyway.
Condoms.
Anyway, we've done some pretty shitty movies, Zach, where I was glad we had like an hour's worth of comments to read. Because, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes they come in handy and it's not always consistent. But whatever.
Well, we're probably not going to do those with guests. We're probably not going to have little to say when a guest is here.
Okay. I mean, I guess you're right. That's fine. Cruising commentary. Mendoza said, I finally watched the first season of The Deuce. R.I.P. Thunder Thighs. My favorite scene so far is with Maggie Gyllenhaal. She's great in the show, he says. And Method Man. Check it out. I didn't watch the clip, but yeah.
That scene where Maggie Gyllenhaal, they're doing the sex scene and the guy busts a nut too quick.
Mm-hmm.
That I happened to be watching that when I tried out my fleshlight for the first time, and that was the scene I cranked it to. Fun fact. Fun fact.
Really?
Hell yes.
Fucking weird. Capper left us quite a lengthy comment on cruising. He says, and he nails us in this. He's basically going to like make fun of us a little bit, I think. He says, in a BTM first, I've composed a completely scripted commentary reaction. Enjoy. Scene opens up on our protagonist reading comments. Aaron spends a moment scrolling as Zach struggles to hold his pee. I mean, that was accurate so far on this show. Aaron says, okay, on the cruising commentary, Capper commented just a single word, Kumachino. Zach then says, donk. Aaron, would you drink a Kumachino? Zach, fuck yes. Oh, hell yeah, would you? Aaron, I'm good on the Kumachino. Zach, beta. Aaron, not for millions of dollars. Zach, you see, Aaron's just scared. You need the cummies in your tummies.
See, this is exactly what I would say in this situation.
This is exactly. Aaron snickers under his breath. Oh, geez.
Fucking beta. See, he knows you're a beta.
That's
you know
what I
just
do.
thought? You know what meme we should do?
What?
You know how we have the Val Coomer? You remember on fucking, what's that called in Bloodsport, the event he goes to?
Kumite.
We should have the Kumite, where fucking... The Kumite, where we all like get into a ring and jack off in each other's face, or like, no, we gotta like look at women and like whoever comes. I don't know. We'll have to brainstorm it.
Whoever comes last has to eat.
Yeah, Mac, you shouldn't talk because everything you're saying, it has to get cut out of the finished podcast because you're not recording.
Yeah, you're just making this very difficult on us. He had it.
You fuck.
And then he ends with Zach just peeing sounds Finn, and he says, "Eat your heart out, Alec Kurtzman." That was really good because as I was reading that, I was visualizing us really saying that in a commentary, and it's pretty spot on. Even down to the meats, when you outgross me, and I just kind of snicker and say, "Oh my gosh," because I have nothing. That's that. Yeah, it's pretty spot on, dude. You know us well. Let's see, on the Resident Evil 7 Part 4 playthrough, Oliver Closeoff, he says, I can't believe I didn't get the notification for the stream. I hit the bell for notifications, but nothing. The second time it happened. I mean, I'm at a loss, man. Google sucks.
I've been hearing a lot, like people I follow, like I won't get notified, and then I'll see, like I'll tune into the stream later and see a bunch of people saying, "Hey, it didn't notify me that you're streaming. I just happened to like land on like your page and notice."
Google's fucked up. All I could say, and I mentioned this in the comment too, and it was an idea I had this past week. I think what we should do is, if we can all get synced on a schedule, maybe we should start making the streams, whether they're a game or whatever, a regular part of the week. Just like, we have the commentaries every Wednesday. Why don't we set a time for everybody to follow and the people that want to listen to us so they'll know, like at 7 p.m. we do a live on Saturday nights. You know what I mean?
That's what I've always said to do.
But
hey,
I mean,
tell them when we're going to be going up.
But no, a set time.
Yes.
Like, okay, set fucking time.
But then every time we do a live stream, it's a different time.
It's always last minute.
Well, so that's what I'm saying. Going forward, maybe we should just say, hey, guys, if you guys don't get the bell notifications, just know we're going live at like fucking 7 p.m. or whatever it is, right? Every Saturday. Or, even if we want to give them a window, 6 to 7. I don't know. But that way we don't have to rely on fucking bells and random acts. You know what I mean? The randomness of it. I think that would be cool. And I don't mind doing Saturdays. I don't mind doing Saturday if we could just land on a time, just set aside, do an hour. And it's nothing that, Zach has to edit or anything. It's easy content, and it's just chilling out for an hour. We just got to figure out a game to play or whatever. So that's something we can talk about, but that's what I think we should just fucking do. Because I think if we're more consistent with that and we actually start doing it every week, even if it's just like a little bit, that'll grow, just like everything else grows once we nurture it a little bit. So anyway,
we've got Resident Evil 4 or Code Veronica. Which one? 4?
4's probably fine. It doesn't matter. We can decide that later. Yeah. So we'll let you know if that's what we decide and we'll post it. But I think that's the way to go. Cruising commentary, Douglas Janusk. He says, I wouldn't be surprised if someday if someday some Criterion version comes out and they go, oh yeah, whoops, we had that 40 minutes of deleted footage all along.
Yeah, fucking hopefully. See, you always kind of hope that fucking something like that does happen. Because, like, every once in a while, there have been, like, movies where they thought, like, oh, yeah, all the extra stuff, all the deleted scenes were destroyed a long time ago. And then they just fucking open up a vault somewhere. And it's like, holy shit, they made another copy and there is one left. Hell yeah.
And it's funny, we're almost done, Mac, and you're still here. That's so funny. Douglas Januski also said, also, he's right. The Wailing is a total slept-on movie. Don't let the subtitles deter you. 5 stars, he says. And the last comment I'll read
Did you check that out? Did you add it to your list or anything?
I add it to my list. I haven't watched it yet.
Fucking good.
I've watched a few movies though over the past few nights of it. I'll have to get to that one.
It's got a great ass fucking atmosphere.
I'm kind of all about the HBO right now. I'm trying to like going through those because that has a lot of movies that aren't on anything else. Like I watched The Postman Always Knocks Twice, right? Last night, that Jack Nicholson movie. Oh, yeah. And very misleading title that is. But last comment I'll read just because I got into a nice little conversation with him talking about music. You posted that retro episode of us reviewing that Phil Anselmo album and Maniac, right? Back in the day. And he was just talking about how much he likes that Phil album, and we were trading stories about times we've been to concerts and stuff like that. So, and that was Adam Turner, which I don't know if you've commented. Yeah, you have. Yeah, he's got the Michael Myers mask, the Nick Castle avatar. Yeah, dude. So thank you guys, everybody, for the comments. Mac's probably still here, which is interesting because you won't be able to hear Ella's audio, but he was here the whole fucking time, even though he had to go. So hopefully Zach doesn't have a hard time editing that, but let us know if you guys have any other comments or questions. So going forward, I think all we have to do now is the Schizo movie, and I think we're ready to go into our October Blitz, but we still haven't decided what we're doing, right, Zach?
Oh yeah.
Last year we did Universal Monsters. I know we've done the Freddy thing. We've done the Halloween thing. Where else do we go from here?
I don't know. I also my Cinema Enema pick will fall in October. So I originally was like, oh, I want to do Being John Malkovich because that's on Netflix streaming, and it's been in my list of movies to do on that show for a while. But then I realized, oh, it's October. That's not a horror movie. So now I'm wondering maybe I should we should do The Sixth Sense. But then it's like, but is he ever going to be able to watch The Sixth Sense and not be tainted by already knowing the ending? And like, will it ever work? Will he be able to go into it knowing the ending? I think you could probably go into it knowing the ending and it'd still work because I think it's good. I think it's good.
My first time watching it'll be like my second time watching it, where now that I know the ending, I'll be like looking for all the shit, right? That makes it all tie together.
Yeah, there's one glaring thing that like I always had a problem with. Like, no, like it. Yeah, like we'll talk about it when we do it. If I pick that for October.
Yeah, we'll see. For sure. And if you guys liked what we did with the Hellraiser 1 and 2 discussion, we came up with ideas as well going further. I think we could do that kind of format for Halloween 1 and 2. We could have a similar discussion. And I've always wanted to do the Alien 3, right? All versions of that. And I think those are... So going forward, I could see what some of my choices are going to be. But yeah, let us know if you guys have any feedback on what you guys want us to tackle as a theme for October Blitz. It doesn't even have to be much of a theme, really. I mean, but just whatever you guys have any thoughts about, and we'll figure it out in the next couple of weeks. In the meantime, hopefully you guys are liking the videos and subscribing and all that stuff, especially if you guys are new. It's your first time on the channel. Please subscribe to the channel and share us with anybody you think might dig us as well. And like the videos as soon as they come up, because that's going to help us in the algorithms. And as well, know that we are on free feeds, podcast services. We always link everything that goes anywhere and everywhere. So we're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher. If you guys want to support the show outside of just listening us as you do, we are on Patreon, and we are also on Teespring, where we offer shirts and cool swag and stuff. But that's all I got, man. You got anything else you want to say, Zach?
Be excellent to each other.
And party on, dude. Bye-bye, puppets. I should have said party on, puppets. Damn it. Okay, bye.
End of the week at the Revival House. Next month's theme, you gotta figure it out. Italian zombies or Pauly Shore, a slasher with a knife and the girl next door. And 1 second in, get it all queued up and ready, hit play in 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye, puppets. Zach Pete in a solo cut band. This camera's loving. Josh and Scott failed and Riverman's babe. Bye-bye, puppets. Sounds good, like this country used to.